art. Think of the prestige.
No.
Think of the respect.
No, no, no.
Think of the Tony.
Hello, all you theater lovers, both out and proud and on the DL, and welcome back to Broadway Breakdown, a podcast discussing the history and legacy of American theater's most exclusive address, Broadway. I am your host, Matt Koplik, the least famous and most opinionated of all the Broadway podcast hosts, and this is our final Tony Awards predictions before the goddamn day itself. And joining us today are friends of the pod, bringing it full circle from Half Hour with Jeff and Richie. Please welcome back Jeff and Richie.
Hi, we're here.
We're here. You're here.
I'm still here.
And we are so used to it. Thank you so much for coming back, guys, to close out this chapter of Tony. Well, it's not fully closed because we still have an award ceremony to get through and talk about. But until then, the speculation, speculification, innuendo, outnuendo. It all comes to a close today with this episode.
Yeah, right. There we go. We're excited. This is what a season.
I feel like we just recorded the other episode.
Yeah, I know.
It's both gone by in a blur and also has felt endless. So I'm very happy for it to be done. And since we last spoke about all of this, you know, all the shows have opened, they've had their receptions, and we saw the nominees and we have our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying as we were going through our decisions, like so many shows will be closed in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, like, and it's going to be like a whole new not every show, but so many. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, a lot of limited runs as well. I mean, that's the thing I always hate when Playbill's like 12 shows are going to close the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What's Broadway up to? And I'm like, well, 10 of those are Manhattan Theater Club. So like
scheduled already.
It's a lot of clickbait.
Yeah.
1000%. Just like when they're like, oh, we broke box office records this season. I'm like, yeah, because the tickets have been $1,000. Yeah. Anyway. Anywho, I do want to say this one quick thing before we get into our dives of the Tonys. We had an episode last week with Robbie Rozelle. I was correctly corrected by a listener on the Discord channel. I wrongfully said, just boldly, that Marcia Norman was the first woman to win the Pulitzer for drama. She wasn't. There have been other women who've won. Mary Chase won the Pulitzer. Susan Glaspell also won the Pulitzer. But yeah, I don't know. I'm usually pretty good about this stuff. I've had a few slip-ups in the last couple of weeks. It's been a very difficult time, you guys, okay?
Yeah. Listen, everyone, we're human.
Right.
We're human.
Right.
We're human. No,
mistakes.
the thing is that Marcia Norman, I believe, was the first woman to win the Best Book of a Musical Tony solo. So I think that was the thing I mixed up.
Yep. I think you're right there. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all connected because, you know, we're talking about Tonys and shit. Oh, and then other thing, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came to the live show on Monday. That was a wonderful time. I'm recording this before that, so I don't know how it's gonna go, but I assume it went well. I assume I didn't kill any or piss on anybody.
You're here and you're alive and you made it through that show.
Exactly. Here we go. All right. So Jeff, Richie, we're gonna start off. We like to do sort of 2 small categories and 1 large category. Okay, so we're gonna start off with, you know, the categories that everybody loves: sound design of a play and musical, and we're gonna pair that with director of a musical.
We like this. Okay.
You're throwing that one in there early.
Sound design of a play, we have Joe Turner's Come and Gone, Oedipus, The Fear of 13, Bug, and Death of a Salesman. Not gonna lie, this one, I have my gut, and then I also have a little bit of like what I vote for. I'm not sure. Ultimately, I do think it's down to Death of a Salesman and Oedipus, with, I think, Death of a Salesman coming out on top. A, it's still running. B, the sound design of Salesman is fantastic in many ways. So that's what I'm predicting. I think I would vote for, you know what, I would vote for Salesman as well on this one. But I know Oedipus could upset. People seem to think Bug could upset. I don't buy it. What do you guys think?
What do you have?
I also have mine down to those 2 of Oedipus and Death of a Salesman, but I am going with Oedipus.
Go for it.
Sound design. Yeah, there's something about that clock ticking and that still sticks with me, but I'm Death of a Salesman could totally just take it. So
yeah. Well, and also, you know, the TV's going on at different points. So like it is very beautiful layered sound design for sure. Richie, what do you got?
I put the same 2, and I put Death of a Salesman just beating out Oedipus, just because I think there was something about the musical and those the musical moments with the scene changes in that and the ambient sounds that just were so haunting. And I loved that revival overall. So I think it's interesting. We all three of us put those two. Yeah.
Well, it helps to have seen the season,
Right. True.
I do.
True.
Yeah, I think it is down to these two ultimately, and however anybody picks. I think Salesman is going to win. I don't think it's so obvious. So if Oedipus wins, like, no one should be gloating in front of me because I'm here to tell you I'm not super confident.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And Oedipus is all over this ballot, and I feel like that's great. And it comes down to that conversation of just because it closed doesn't mean it can't win things. But there's all these Tony voters going now to vote on things that are playing now, and so that just becomes that's why so many shows open the week before the deadline. It's just that's just how this industry has become, and I don't know. It's just how it is now.
I think it's important to remember that the last two Tony seasons we have had supporting performances and plays win that were in closed shows, but those performances were also filmed for PBS, which broadcast during Tony season.
Yes.
And that helped Francis Drew and that helped Carrie Young a lot, which is not to discredit their performances. I'm very happy they won, but Oedipus doesn't have a PBS broadcast. I mean, I'm not sure how much the producers on that show are helping the show's case with Tony voters, but yeah, I think Oedipus's nominations proved that clearly it did something right. How many it could possibly win is really up for how many of the Tony voters remember it and aren't subject to recency bias.
Yep. I hear you.
Which brings us to sound design of a musical. We have Cats the Jellicle Ball. We have Ragtime. Kai Harada, double nominated here. We have The Lost Boys. We have Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show. And we have Schmigadoon. Honestly, I think this one is The Lost Boys in a bit of a cakewalk, with maybe Jellicle Ball surprising. I think Jellicle Ball absolutely could. I just think when you see Lost Boys, it's such a vast production and the sound design for it is so crisp. And like you said about Salesman, Richie, it's an ambient design. It's all around you. And I think that's something that sound designers of late have really been awarding, whether it's MJ or whether it's Hell's Kitchen. They really appreciate it's not just how good is your body, Mike. It's also how are you surrounding me with sound.
And I actually had Lost Boys with Cats too as a neck and neck. The only thing I'll say about Lost Boys is, and this is I guess part of the sound design, but I'm becoming like the old man now that get off my lawn kind of a person, I guess, in my life. But it was so loud, it's not even funny. And I know that the literal volume of the sound is not what we're talking about, but I can't help but ignore that elephant in the room because it was extremely, extremely loud the whole time. And I'm like, okay, sure. Maybe I'm just getting old. I didn't go to a rock concert at MSG. I was at a Broadway theater. And so I'm just getting that was just so loud that I just thought maybe I put Cats might win over it just because Cats wasn't that loud, but I could be completely, I don't know. I mean, was it just me or was it the loudest thing you ever heard?
I put it that it was loud too. So, and
is that bad?
I go to concerts. I put Cats for this one.
Yeah.
I just think filling that space like you're talking about for Lost Boys. I thought that they did a great job with Cats as well.
I mean, listen, it's ultimately down to these two again, and I think Jellicle Ball, considering it is such a raucous party, it is very impressive that it's not overwhelmingly loud. I could see it happening. I think with Lost Boys, it's not just the volume, but it's all the effects that it does, which Cats doesn't really have the benefit of. Jellicle Ball is very much music forward, so they don't get the echoing of Ali's voice through different speakers of the palace and things like that.
I would have loved so much more of that.
I would love it. Listen, if it would be great, but no, I'm gonna stick with my Lost Boys. Lost Boys.
Yeah, I can see it still going that way. Yeah.
I
hear you.
And now I said director of a musical. Yes.
Yeah. This is really tough because I have thoughts, but you go first. Or should
I'm not going first. I'm gonna go last.
Okay. All right. Here's my thoughts. My thoughts are this 1000% should be going to Jalen Livingston and Bill Rauch for Catch the Jellicle Ball. But I really think, because I just keep seeing Lear DeBesene winning out for this in a lot of other categories, that that's the way the voters are going to go. And I don't agree with it at all, because I really, really think the directors of Cats, for what they're doing with that source material, should be winning this. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised if I just see that Lear wins, because Lear's been nominated and Lear's now the artistic director. I don't think there's anything really going on in the direction of Ragtime that I would even put her as a nominee for, let alone a potential win. But I just think that's where we're leaning with these voters right now, because I keep seeing her winning in these smaller awards categories. So I don't know. But I really think it should go to Cats. That's my
Jeff.
Oh, I'm just 1000% saying Cats, Jalen Livingston and Bill Rauch, because yeah, I think that was my favorite direction that was happening this season.
May I set the stage for a second, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So it's no secret that I was whelmed by this production of Ragtime, and that I have consistently been underwhelmed by Lear's work as a director since Into the Woods. Pretty much everything I've seen her do, I just have not.
Agreed. I agree with you.
No, granted, she doesn't need my praise because she has gotten accolades in the past and people have enjoyed her work fine. Where things get a little muddier for me with Ragtime is not just the work on stage, but also the drama behind it all.
Sure.
Which I had alluded to on this podcast in the past, and I've had listeners kind of yell at me, not like, don't come for her, more like, no, bitch, say it. Like, we don't know what you're talking about. And I've been keeping my mouth shut mostly because I don't want any allegations that I'm trying to smear her or have a smear campaign against her.
Sure.
In fact, I did spill the tea on an earlier episode that I then cut most of it out because I'm like, But now this is coming out the day before voting closes.
Okay.
And I also learned that there are voters I don't know who've been listening to this podcast. I would assume that they voted by this point, but if they haven't, cover your ears or whatever. I will say, may I share the story?
Sure. We're all ears.
First of all, I know you guys know the majority of it, but I don't know if you.
Yeah, I think we know a lot. I'm just from the grapevine and whatever. But yeah, I'd love to hear.
So I'm going to say allegedly in front of a lot of words because so the way this happened is that this story about Ragtime's direction was broken to me by a Tony nominator back in like November. And I then went to multiple contacts I had at Ragtime, people who are in that building every day, have been since the beginning of rehearsals through tech, like saw it all. So these are directly firsthand accounts, multiple, but none of them are going to go on record. So I have to say allegedly. Everybody looks in that program and they see the Chris Catelli creative consultant. I've had listeners be like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, okay, in layman's terms, in the industry terms, people see creative consultant and they're like, oh, show doctor, person who came in and like kind of took over. That's not exactly what happened here, but it is true that Chris Catelli, allegedly, at the beginning of rehearsals, allegedly, was there to help Lear out. By the time they got to the theater with tech, allegedly, things got worse. And they you'll notice, by the way, that there are 2 lighting designers credited for Ragtime. One of them was fired. And that's why there's a second one, because they were brought in during tech because allegedly Lear was very unhappy with the lights for the all black set, because allegedly she was like, why is there no color? And everyone was like, allegedly, it's an all black set, girl. You need, this is what you asked for.
Right.
And so allegedly in tech they brought in Bart Scher as sort of a Hail Mary.
Yes, he's on the playbill too. Yeah.
Oh, now he's on the playbill? He wasn't on the playbill.
More on the inside cover. His name was in there. I could have
Okay, because he wasn't in there in 2025. 2020, they might have added him in 2026.
Oh, maybe I could be wrong.
Allegedly, but only because by that point in tech, Bart was brought in to basically be the liaison for the company and tweak certain things. And so Bart allegedly was the one who was giving notes during tech, during previews, post opening. So when people talk about like, well, Lear's direction isn't just about her staging, it's about how she sort of maps the company. I'm sitting here going, well, people are talking like, not only is it like, if you're underwhelmed by the stage pictures, fine, blame her or blame Catelli. But if you're praising the performances, you can't thank her because allegedly someone else was there to helm all of that.
And there's a ton of great stuff happening in Ragtime with performances and obviously the score and what that story is and all of that, right? I just I don't understand all of the wins that she's getting in these smaller awards categories.
So this is where I'm connecting the dots here, because I talked about this 2 weeks ago. I was at the Drama Desks where she won again.
Yes, right.
The awards where everybody kind of freaked out was because she and Ragtime won at Drama Leagues.
Right.
And that was the only time where Jellicle Ball was really up against Ragtime. Every other the Outer Critics Circle Drama Desk Jellicle Ball has not been eligible.
Mhm.
And having seen all the other revivals this season, nothing has been really special enough to beat Ragtime in terms of just like Ragtime is a musical that people have a lot of love for. This revival does get some stuff right. And so ultimately, having just seen Spelling Bee, nice as it is, it's not quite special enough to beat Ragtime. Baker's Wife was not special enough. Chess was not special enough. And so Ragtime has sort of been winning everywhere, and Lear's been winning everywhere just because the Jellicle Ball as competition is not there against her.
Yep.
And at the Drama Desks, she won, and the reception in the room was very tepid. And everyone in my group was like, that was a very frigid response from the audience, was it not? And I ran into a voter who had said, the Outer Critics Circle Drama Desk voters, they don't know the shit that went down at Ragtime, because the whole point of the Outer Critics Circle Awards is those are critics who are not necessarily on the New York theater scene. Drama Desk has some people in the theater scene, but mostly nominators, not the voters. And so there's a lot of talking. And so with the Tonys, there is a lot more of actors who've worked with Lear, designers who've worked with Lear, directors who watch Lear, and I just keep talking to people and and maybe it's because I've been very open that I'm whelmed by her, but I do feel like a lot of these folks come to find me and they go, "Girl, can I talk to you?"
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm sitting here going, I'm not buying that she's winning, because everyone I speak to says what you said, Richie, which is she might win, but God damn it should be Jellicle Ball. I'm like, if enough fucking people say that and vote that way, then why wouldn't they win?
Right. Yeah. I just have never seen something reimagined like Jellicle Ball. I mean, yes, of course, some things have been completely reimagined, but I just think that is just really smart. And I don't know what Lear's doing with Ragtime other than just staging it on a mostly empty stage, like a concert.
We're giving it AI sets for sure.
Right. So that's where I'm sitting. And of course, listen, you also have, Michael Arden in this category too, but also I don't think there's anything to me going on there. That's where he just won for the second time. I don't think we are going that way with this.
That's why, in my opinion, Lear has been winning so much outside of the Tonys, because for all these other directors in this category, other than Jellicle Ball, there are these major caveats. Michael has done amazing work on Lost Boys. I maintain that second act is kind of a mess. Also, as you said, he also did just win. Are we really going to give him his third Tony within 4 years for a musical that people are mid on? Probably not.
Right.
I think if anyone has a chance of beating Lear and Jalen and Bill, it would be Chris Catelli for Schmigadoon, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yep.
Partly for the Schmigadoon is, got high stock. Also, a lot of people talk about how Catelli is the unsung hero on Ragtime working. Bart too. Also, I also got to say this, and this is not super shade. It's an open secret that Bart's not the most open conversationalist with his actors on his shows. He's got a short temper. He's known for it. So when people have been talking to me about the Bart share and Ragtime of it all, they're like, for Bart to be the Hail Mary for the company tells you kind of how bad tech was.
Yes, right. And there's also this umbrella of Lear is the artistic director of that theater company now. So now she's leading for an X amount of time. Does that mean she's directing every show? No, but she could be directing some of the big ones. So she could be around in the Tony circuit for a while just because of the position she holds.
No, I think it's in her contract that she directs one show a season, whether it's main stage or off Broadway. I don't know.
Right.
And listen, if she does a show that I love in the future, I'm going to call it like I see it and be like, that was fantastic.
Right, sure.
But if we recall, a year ago, I was on a similar train with Audra's Gypsy, and I got fucking dragged through the dirt about it. And when I just was openly saying, I've yet to speak to a person on Broadway who likes this production, and they goose-egged that night. So
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Look what happened.
So it's very interesting. And I would, and that's why, I mean, and I just think that's where that's what my vote would be. Would go towards.
Sorry,
Cats.
that was a very long thing, but
No,
I
that's
asked you if
cool.
I could set a stage.
I knew we were going to talk about her at some point, and I think that was the time.
That was the time. I'm glad you guys knew about Bart as well. That way the listeners won't think that I'm just like making
No,
shit
I've
up.
heard that. Yeah, definitely.
Great. Yeah, well, and that's the other thing about the allegedly of it all, right? Is like, guys, people know I'm not the one making this up. It's around, and if people go like, "Well, who leaked?" I'm like, there were 90 people in that room with you on that day, and 100 people the next day. Like, any one of them could have said it.
Sure. And this industry is sometimes, I think, smaller than we think. I think a lot of people talk and know each other more than we think, and so even though it's the big Broadway.
And last thing I will say, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
I alluded to this in the episode 2 weeks ago, but I had cut the whole story out so people weren't quite sure what I was talking about. Like, sometimes people need help. It's okay. It's a community effort. It's never about like having authority and you know, being a total visionary. Best idea always wins. You're the tastemaker as the director. And you know, Bob Fosse won a Tony for Pajama Game, and we all know Jerome Robbins like choreographed half of that show. But like, to help him out, that also was Bob Fosse's first show. He went on to, like, he learned very quickly, and by his second show he was doing the thing. But still, it's not like,
well, there's also I always call it the Hal Prince effect of the industry too, because Hal Prince directed 75,000 million shows, and it was like that, and he just worked and directed, and it was mostly hit. And so I think there's this like, oh my gosh, if that guy could do it, anybody can be this like huge successful director. And it's like, no, like we co-directing. Look at, we just said Cats is co-directed. That's probably awesome for them that they were able to bring their ideas together, co-directing.
And Hal Prince and Michael Bennett had to co-direct Follies. It was such a big task. And like, Prince famously like struck out a couple times as director before he really started to get his groove. And then even then he had a valley like in between Evita and Phantom. So like, everyone has it. It's not about a target on anyone's back so much as like, we're talking about this category. So yes, my prediction is still Jalen and Bill for Jellicle Ball, if only just because everyone I've spoken to has said the same thing you two have said, which is like, it should be. That's what I would vote for. And I'm like, then why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? But yes, I do.
I've always had this like theory too that I say to Richie a lot is like, it's very rare for a director to not win in either revival or best musical that the show has not also won.
Yeah.
So I think it was only like one time we looked. It was like Come From Away, I think, was it?
The only time it's happened with a revival is John Doyle with Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
He won and Sweeney Todd did not win. It's happened a couple of times, but over the course of like 50 years, we're talking like 6 or 7 times. So that's like once every 10 years.
Yeah, like one of the directors of either the best musical or the revival will take home the award. And that's the other thing when we get to what we think is winning revival.
Right.
So
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So yes, my prediction is still Jalen and Bill. I think Lear is probably second, but also I'm sitting here going like, watch Catelli just like out of nowhere.
I know, right? And I was like,
I would love it. I mean, why not?
Well,
chaos. We love chaos. Okay, gentlemen.
All right, let's go lighting design of a play, lighting design of a musical, and then director of a play.
Great.
Do we do that?
What we got? What are we doing?
All right, so we're gonna do. Let's first.
All right, our nominees are Dog Day Afternoon, Oedipus, Joe Turner's Come and Gone, Boog, The Fear of 13, and Death of a Salesman. Hey, Heather Gilbert nominated twice here for Bug and Fear of 13. Richie, what you got?
I did put Death of a Salesman for this because I just thought it was a cool set to light, and that production is really sticking with me, and I just really loved the way it was lit with the car and just the kitchen in the corner and just the way we were just showing this ghostly haunted lighting. That's what I would go for me.
Do you think anything could upset that, or do you think it's pretty locked in?
I don't. Fear of 13 maybe. It's not getting a lot of Tony buzz, unfortunately, that show, but I don't know. For me, it's staying pretty strong at Death of a Salesman. That's what.
Were you a fan of The Fear of 13?
At times, I thought it was kind of cool.
You just said unfortunately, so I was like, is Richie a fan?
Oh, I mean, I didn't hate that show. I thought there was some cool moments. I just didn't leave there thinking it was like this huge hit. And then the Tony voters clearly didn't think so either. So I was like, okay, yeah, like it was an interesting story. I didn't hate it, but I didn't.
I mean, I think the lighting design nomination here is very earned. I think it's a well-designed show for sure.
Yeah. Totally. What do
I
you?
don't
Jeff.
know if I'm going with Death of a Salesman as well for best lighting design here, and I don't know if I really have an upset for this.
I don't either. I think it's Salesman easily.
Yeah.
Again, similar to sound design, I think the sound and lighting design of this revival really helped Joe Mantello's vision of this being such a memory piece.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty stunning. But I will also say this is a solid category. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Lighting design of a musical. We have 3, 4. What we have 6 nominees in both
I
of these
know.
categories. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I know. And
Yeah.
great. So I mean, what do we have? Chess?
Especially when in some of the bigger categories they did not.
I know.
So
Yeah. We got Chess, The Lost Boys, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Schmigadoon, Ragtime, and Jellicle Ball. I love that Adam Honore is nominated for both Ragtime and Jellicle Ball, and Donald Holder is nominated for Schmigadoon and Ragtime. It's like
Like they were just crossing the street every day, going to different theaters.
it's like, where are you off to? I'm off at here. Okay. Well, why don't we meet at Ragtime for a drink and do some lighting together? Yeah, no, it's
And I always look at things like that. And I'm like, there's so many incredible lighting designers who would like kill to be in one of those slots. And when you see them in multiple, it's like, you are very lucky. You know, who's another one? Linda Cho is multiple costume nominated. Like when you see multiple designers and multiple, I'm like, you just be very lucky and count your blessings because you're working. And there's thousands of designers who would love to be in those shoes. So they're lucky.
Usually the multiple lighting design nominations goes to Natasha Katz.
She's always on there. I know. I actually shocked.
Yeah, just like the one year she's not on here. I'm like,
she's actually just sitting home on the Tony Awards this year, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, did she not have a show? Did she decide to go to Barcelona for the year? Like,
right. She just took a year off, I guess.
Probably.
So lighting design and musical, I'm really going strong on the Lost Boys for this. I was blown. I'm not. We'll talk a little later, but more about Lost Boys. I'm not blown away by that show in general. I've liked it, but I wasn't obsessed. But that lighting is really, really good, and I know that to light flying actors and to not see wires and to light scenery flying in from every corner of that space, it was just really, really impressive. Now I will say, I didn't know Michael Arden had lighting design experience. I know that. I always look at it like when you're a director, you're already getting the directing credit. Did you need the lighting design credit? I'd love to know the story there because I was saying this on our podcast, like, that's cool. Like that, if you actually like know a lot about lighting design and actually sat there and designed the lines to the lighting designer, great. But I also know some directors that like help out with the lighting and claim to be a lighting designer. I hope that wasn't the case here because now if that wins, look, he's getting another Tony Award. But I know Jen Shriver's an amazing lighting designer, and I hope that this is not like a stepping on toes thing because in general, it's great lighting design, and I was really blown away by that.
From what I understand, it's not that. As I understand it, it was a more collaborative effort, but I hear you for sure. I think this is sort of like how like Kip Williams designs the productions of like Dorian Gray and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I feel you. Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going with Lost Boys on this as well. And I had said on our podcast as well, it just feels like he may have said, I'm not going to win direction this year. So I'm going to put myself in another category.
It just feels like, I hate to say that. I just feels like that. I don't know. It's a little, like, well, let me ask you, why did he not put his name as lighting designer for Queen of Versailles? Like, or maybe Happy, like, where did this come from? I'd love to just know the story.
Maybe he has always wanted to be in lighting design, and maybe the way his career went, it wasn't something he was allowed to pursue both of. But then with the 2 Tonys and then also working on Lost Boys, he was like, you know what? Now I'm going to use my cachet and demand to be a part of the lighting design now. I want to get involved. And maybe the next show we're going to see, it's going to be directed and lit by Michael Arden.
Right. I mean, I also know sometimes like a long time ago in history used to be like sometimes the set and the lighting designer, the set and the costume designer is the same person. And I have seen that plenty. I very rarely feel like I've seen the director also at a show of this scale. I would think that you wouldn't have had also need to co-lighting design it, but I don't know the story. So
I'm just ready for like the next Casey Nicholaw show where he's also the sound designer. So he's nominated for choreography and sound design. Like,
well,
and starring in it.
Yeah, and starring. Right. He hasn't been on stage in a while. So right. I know. But anyway, what do you got?
Yeah, same bitch. It's Lost Boys. I mean, from the opening
Oh yeah.
From the opening scene. It sounds so perfunctory and basic to say this, but like when that security guard comes in with the flashlight,
Yeah.
immediately you're going, oh, this is a mood. And this
Oh
is
yeah.
because I can't recall the last time I saw a flashlight on stage where it was such a strobe effect like that.
It was high powered. I know. I'm like, this is cool. It's like out of a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's straight out of a noir film. It was
Yep.
stunning, and it's like that all the time. It for a show that's so maximalist, I thought it was very impressive how focused, at least on a design level, the show always was. Because I mean, I have now seen the show a few times, not out of undying devotion, but just because of logistics. I was brought once in previews, and it was too early for me to review it. So I was like, I got to go back and see the final product. So I did that and reviewed that. And then I got invited back again by someone on the team. And I was like, I think that's going to be my third time. They're like, yes, but you haven't seen it from house seats. And I went, okay, daddy, if you insist. But my first time seeing it, I remember going like, Jesus Christ, this is a lot of musical. And then by my third time seeing it, I still feel that way. But I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I will say design-wise, staging-wise, they, at that very level, they are very focused on what they're doing. And so that is, I think the show would be unbearable if the design were not so disciplined. You know what I mean?
And it's almost like the opposite problem with, if we're talking about Lost Boys for another second, there's a part of me that's usually, to me, the design was so strong for a show that didn't have an out of town or an off-Broadway run. And yet I wish they had put more work into the score in the book, because that was what I found more weaker than the design. And it's usually the opposite. And I'm sitting here like, wow, you would have thought this was on the road for 6 months. And they just, because it's like so well designed. And then I look at that Act 2 script and score and plot, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening here in Act 2. I I don't know. I just lost.
We'll talk about her
I
some
was
more.
a lost boy in Act 2 because
you
I
were,
had to throw in the dad joke there.
it's yeah. We'll talk about Act 2 with Lost Boys in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
but now you guys got to pick me a big category, daddies.
Oh, we were going to do
Yeah.
director of a play, right? Was
Yeah.
we were next? Okay. Best
Okay.
direction of a play. Go.
You're first, right?
Oh, I'm first this time. Okay,
Sure.
so we have Nick
Do it.
Heitner for Giant, Robert Ick for Oedipus, Kenny Leon for The Ballisters, Joe Mantello for Death of a Salesman, and Whitney White for Liberation. Before I make my prediction, can I just say that in this moment, I fucking love this category. I think it's
Yeah.
baller. I have no notes.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Perfect. I mean, the only two people missing for me are Trip Coleman for Becky Shaw and Ann Kaufman for Marjorie Prime, but it's five nominees.
Yep.
That's what it's supposed to be. So
Yeah.
I don't know what people want from me.
Right.
I love this category. I think these five are all amazing.
Yeah.
I do ultimately think it's Joe Mantello for Salesman, with Whitney White a potential upset,
Literally said the same thing.
mostly
the same.
because I think this is the strongest chance Liberation has to win a second Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Jean could win in costumes. We'll get to that. But I think that Whitney probably has a better shot than Queen Jean does for Liberation. Part of it is that Liberation has closed. Part of it is that Whitney White's direction is much similar to like Nick Heitner's for Giant or Kenny Leon's for The Ballisters, where it's much more about the ensemble and keeping the tone and the pacing, and less about the bold vision of it. She's not imposing on Bess Wall's text, and Mantello is not imposing on Salesman, but this is a salesman unlike any other.
Oh,
without feeling disrespectful to the text, which is really, really hard to do.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I had the exact same thing, and I just think I left Death of a Salesman, and I said to Jeff, we were literally standing on the street, I said, I turned around, I pointed to that marquee, I said, that is how you do Death of a Salesman. And we've seen so many different versions, and I've read the play 1,000 million times, and there's film adaptations, and I get it, but that felt like a new play. And when if I leave a show of a revival and I feel like I saw a new play for almost 3 hours, I'm like, and Joe Mantello has directed a lot. I've not liked everything he's always done, but that was amazing.
He also kept his like signature style, which like sometimes directors don't. And I find anytime he directs something, he really keeps his style.
What do you consider his style, Laurie Metcalf?
Yeah, definitely.
Basically.
Yeah, very dark.
No, he finds, I always find he finds heavy moments and they don't feel heavy, and we then move and the show is moving, and then we get to Glass Menagerie with Sally Field, right? Am I right that he directed that?
He didn't direct that. He was in it.
Oh, he was in it. Okay, I'm thinking of that, but that's another heavy play at times. But I just feel like he knows how to move a plot and a piece, but then find the moments.
Yeah.
And I know Nathan and Laurie were finding those moments as actors too, but I just think that's it. It's got to be the win for him.
Yeah. I think with Mantello, and also Jeff, you never fully got to tell me the signature style. I want to hear more about that.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes when I see a production that he's directed, because I think for me his signature style is more just like he's notoriously wonderful with actors. Like he gets performances out of his shows. And there are some plays he's done where I'm like, I don't think the text is that strong. And so there are moments where it's like supposed to be powerful and the acting is great, but like I don't buy it. One for me was Hillary and Clinton. And then another one was, it's in the news right now, Other Desert Cities, a play that I saw on Broadway right after it transferred. And the buzz from off Broadway was so amazing that when I saw it on Broadway, I was like, acting's incredible. That's the play?
Yeah.
Okay. Like it's fine. But I remember like Rachel Griffiths had this really big moment. It's like a very like Leslie Manville and Oedipus moment. And I was just like, that seems like a lot of energy for this task right now. And I think it's just because the text for me did not justify that kind of drama. But Jeff, how would you describe a Joe Mantello production?
It seems like a lot of people are very excited about that Other Desert Cities.
Because of the cast, Jeff. Jesus.
Well, the cast
No,
is
but they're like,
insane.
this is my favorite play.
Yeah,
Who's saying that?
yeah, I don't
That's
know.
what they're posting on their Instagrams.
Some 19-year-old from Wisconsin? Like,
yeah, well,
who got to do it for acting class? Like, who's saying that?
Yeah, but I will say, going back to Joe Mantello, like what you, I find his style, like you're saying, to be very actor focused, pulls it in, but then it also has like maybe like a dark eeriness to it that really brings you in and know that like you're really at a play. And yeah, I find that with his work.
I think it's also interesting to note he has not won a Tony in 22 years. And so even though this would be his third, it's not like it's, oh, well, he just won. No, he's been around forever. And he won for Take Me Out and Assassins, but hasn't won since Assassins. And
so he didn't win for Wicked.
He wasn't nominated for Wicked.
Oh, he wasn't even nominated for Wicked.
I don't believe so.
Well, and that's interesting because that show's probably making more money for him than anything combined, and that's his biggest show, right? But
yeah, he knows it. He knows it, and he's not exactly. I don't think he's looking back on his lack of Tony nomination for Wicked and going, "Should have been me." I think he's sort of like, "I'm grateful that I own my home."
yeah, right, or multiple homes at this point.
Multiple, yeah, absolutely. No, he won for Assassins and rightfully so. But,
Okay, yeah.
Like there are Joe Mantello shows that have been very directory, and I don't think we've really seen that in a long time. Like Assassins was very directory. Take Me Out, Love, Valor, Compassion, and this Salesman is like very directory in a way that doesn't feel empty. It like feels connected to everything.
Yep.
So that's really fun to see.
Yeah,
So,
very cool.
yeah.
I agree.
Okay, great. So that's direction of a play.
Yay. Where are we going next?
Wait, you guys gave your predictions, right? You said you both said Mantello.
Joe. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
even think
fantastic.
there's anyone else that's beating him.
Yep.
Okay, so Richie and did you both pick those three categories, or
You
did
did. You did.
Did we?
Well,
Okay.
I kind of did. So Jeff did. No.
So
get
Jeff,
it
you go now.
Go now.
Too small and a big.
Sure. Let's go down the list here of the two costumes: costume of a musical, costume of a play, and then
Ooh, big one. Do it.
big. Let's go leading actress in a musical.
We're going there already? Oh my god.
You said
Oh
big.
my god, Jeff! I
Wow.
wasn't ready for this.
That is really big. Okay, so all right. Well, last year was
not as big as last
no,
year.
last year was
So big.
Last year was the Audra Nicole. Audra Nicole was all we talked about for months, right? So it's a little different this year.
Yeah. It's definitely a different race this year for sure.
Yeah. All right, costumes. So we should do costumes of a play first.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do it.
We have Dog Day Afternoon, Liberation, Fallen Angels, The Ballisters, and Joe Turner's Come and Gone. A lot of legends here. Paul Tazwell, Emilio Sosa, Queen Jean. Jeff, who do you have winning?
This was tough because I'm going back and forth between like the musical and play. And my gut is telling me Queen Jean for Liberation is winning this one. With like maybe Jeff for Fallen Angels as my second runner-up.
Jeff Mashi. Richie.
I'm going Queen Jean Liberation. There was a lot of costumes in that. that were very period. I mean, they're all period shows in a way for the most part, besides Ballsters. But I feel like it could be a Fallen Angels too. There wasn't a ton of,
But
costumes.
they had beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gowns. They were beautiful gowns.
They had beautiful
And
gowns.
it's not about the
Do
number.
not
of
underestimate beautiful gowns, Richie.
I know, yes. I loved what the women were wearing. Oh, everyone was wearing in Fallen Angels, but it's Queen Jean it's Liberation with a backup of Fallen Angels for me too.
Yeah. I'm going to reverse that with mine and say Fallen Angels with Queen Jean as a backup. Okay. I think that this is the only thing that Fallen Angels will win.
Mm-hmm.
If it wins anything, like it may be set, maybe, but I ultimately think it's going to be costumes. And I do think people really like this production. Yeah. I think that Kelly and Rose, God bless them, are just, I don't think they're winning. I don't think they're winning Revival. And this is sort of a thing where people can go, you know what? Good for you. Here you are, roundabout. Here you are. Here you go. But because it's also like, it's a little bit of my cynicism, I guess I'm going to say, that's predicting Fallen Angels as well. It's the Linda Cho winning for Great Gatsby for me, where I go, period, like, glittery gowns.
You go right.
I would also vote for Queen Jean in Liberation. I think her design on that show is spectacular and lived in. When we had Juan Ramirez on for pre-nomination predictions, we both were talking about how like the costumes in Liberation feel like clothes, not costumes, and that's really hard to do. And the same thing with Ballisters as well. And the nominations are huge already, but like I don't know, you want to award that too. So I do. My cynicism is saying Fallen Angels with Liberation as a second option, but I would vote for Liberation.
All right, there we go.
Right.
Love it.
Costume design of a musical. Twice nominated: Linda Cho, Ragtime and Schmigadoon, Queen Jean for Jellicle Ball, Ryan Park for The Lost Boys, and David Reynoso for Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show.
So I feel like this is where my selection for Queen Jean for play happened, because I just feel like Linda Cho's Schmigadoon costumes, there's so much detail happening in those pieces, that like down to the shoe that they're wearing, and it's like, and then like Queen Jean's cats are amazing, and I'm like, I go back and forth between the two of them, but I just feel like I could see voters saying like, oh, we're gonna award Queen Jean for Liberation, and then we're gonna give it to Linda Cho for Schmigadoon.
Possible, yeah.
That's just my feeling.
I'm a little bit of the opposite, because I think I love Linda Cho as a designer. I've always loved everything she's doing, and I think Ragtime and Schmigadoon, she's doing such great stuff. But I think what Cats is doing and what Queen Jean's costumes is just something different and out of the box and experimental, but also lavish and gorgeous. And then there's people in simple looks and then over the top look and color schemes and color palettes. And I just think that's, if I had to choose, it's that over anything else. And I think that's hard for me to say, because I love Schmigadoon and I love what he's saying, the sock color of the dancers and the tap shoes. No, every little thing is so designed in Schmigadoon, and Ragtime for that matter too. I know we're not talking about Rocky Horror and Lost Boys, which are also different.
They're at the table, but they're not.
I don't think that's really going there.
They got nominated.
So I mean, if I had to, my gut's telling me Queen Jean for Cats. I just think that's where it's going for me.
Well, it was today that I learned that Richie has a thing for feet, so thank you for that, Richie.
No, I'm just saying, like the shoes, the socks. No, I don't know. We were sitting really close to Schmigadoon, and then the top number, I was like, wow, the different colors of the socks and the shoes are so cool. I don't know. I just noticed that.
There's a lot of dramaturgy in the design of Schmigadoon, and I think that's important to know.
Yeah, totally.
It's interesting, Jeff, because you and I have the same thought, but inverse of each other, because part of the reason why I'm not convinced that Queen Jean's winning for Liberation is I'm kind of convinced that she's winning for Jellicle Ball. And listen, could win both. It's entirely possible.
Why not?
That'd be amazing. I mean, that would be amazing.
We would love to see. Every time I feel like the Tony Awards could really vote in a fun way, they almost never do.
I know.
And so that's where I'm like, God, who has the balls to vote for her twice and have her give two amazing speeches? Wouldn't that just be cunt? But I don't have faith in them.
I know. It would be very cool though.
Yeah. But so I think if anyone is upsetting Queen Jean for Jellicle Ball, I think it is Linda Cho for Schmigadoon, which I do think the costumes are quite fantastic. The design of Schmigadoon I have almost no notes on.
Oh, agreed.
I have notes for that script and a score, but
Yeah.
I don't have notes on the design.
Yeah.
I think, and also like, don't you underestimate Linda Cho at your own peril. But then again, I also said the same thing about Jessica Hecht getting about a potential nomination for Dog Day Afternoon, because every time we're like, who's going to nominate Jessica Hecht for that? And then she does, like Summer 1976. But I think for this one, I'm getting whereas director of musical was giving me, and we'll talk about this with Revival as well, like Sunset, Gypsy, PTSD. Costume design for this, I'm getting a little bit of Six Paradise Square PTSD, where Paradise Square was the period opulent costumes and Six was more like a spin on the thing you thought you knew. And it's not a lot of costume, but it's detailed and it's weird. And then Six ended up winning costumes.
I know. We talk about that all the time. You know what? The other show that season,
he was not upset about Paradise Square.
It wasn't Paradise Square because I'm such a golden age boy that I just was blown away by the costumes of Music Man, even though it's Music Man. I know. But the fact that they all came out in white at the end, in a white look, like just to design 40 something people in that look at the end, and look with all the, I just love the costumes of that show. And so like, it's not about numbers. It's about, there was 6 women that won a costume design for 6 characters, and there were 40 or 50 more for Music Man. It's not, and Paradise Square, another one, great costume. So it's not always about, oh, well, you designed 100 shows for this period piece, you should win. It's not always that way. And I get that.
Yeah. Sometimes they will do the quantity over the quality. I would argue Bob Mackie won his Tony for the Cher show for recreating his Cher outfits, because you better believe that man did not dress his ensemble at all.
Right.
He put them in cat suits and had them roll around in glitter and called it a day.
Right.
I had so many thoughts about your Music Man. First of all, who's throwing shade at the Music Man? The Music Man's a wonderful, almost perfect musical.
Right. I agree. I really do. It's an almost.
Like,
he always says, it's about a con artist. I know, but I think
he has a change of heart. He has an arc, Jeff. It's a
too
dramatic
soon.
arc.
Putting everybody in a marching band costume and all white marching band costumes at the end, I was like, I think I was crying at the end of Music Man. That's how, that's the gayest thing you'll hear on this podcast is crying at the end of Music Man because of all white marching band costumes.
That's Richie in a nutshell. I just watched that and went, wow, what an expensive high school production this is. So.
But I will say, and Schmigadoon gets that golden age look. Linda understood the assignment of the homage and the spoofy, but also not just spoofing, but really drawing to what brilliant costume designers did for many years before her in golden age cinema and in Broadway. So I thought Schmigadoon got that right with the costumes. And that's why it's tough. That's a tough one.
It is. Somebody had written recently that Schmigadoon is not necessarily an exact send up of golden age shows so much as it's a send up of golden age shows as you remember them. And whether that's actually what Cinco Paulo is going for or not, who's to say? But if that is the case, that's actually fascinating. And I do think that the design reflects that. Like what Linda Cho's costumes does and the set design, it is steeped in golden age musical just from the construction and the aesthetic, but there is a tinge of like, it's a little too bright. It's a little too sleek to be authentic. And that's okay, because that's sort of the point.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
I totally get it. I love it.
Yeah. I'm gonna stick to my guns and say Queen Jean, but like Linda Cho, Schmigadoon could happen. Which leads us to leading actress in a musical.
My gosh. All right, read them off.
Okay. We have Sarah Chase in Schmigadoon, Stephanie Hsu in Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Casey Levy in Ragtime, Marla Mindell in Titanic, and Christiani Pitts in Two Strangers, parentheses, Carry a Cake Across New York, end parentheses.
Carry a cake, ...
And I wish that Two Strangers' abbreviation wasn't Two Strangers. It was just cake. Or like across. Like, oh my God, have you guys seen Across yet?
That was funny. See, I like things like that. All right.
Thank you. Sometimes I make a joke and Richie laughs. It's okay.
Should we all say it at the same time?
Oh, you think we're all saying the same thing? Oh gosh, maybe. All right, but I don't want to go first. I don't want to.
Okay, ready?
Casey. Okay, we knew that was going that way. Okay.
Wait, where's Leah Michelle? No.
We're not talking about that.
Leah Michelle.
Here's my thoughts on that. It just makes the most sense out of everyone. Everyone's working really hard. I believe everyone is a first-time nominee in this category.
They are
which
indeed.
is fascinating that we came from last season to this season and what 1 year can do. They're all doing wonderful stuff. I really enjoy all of them. They're doing really different things, all 5 of them. I think Casey's handed a incredible role. And I think Mother in Ragtime is just like the role of roles for like middle-aged women, maternal belting ballads, but acting. And so I'm not saying she's not also deserving of her acting in it. I'm just saying I think that just the dots lined up for that for her. And then she's giving a good performance. And I think that's where we're going with this. And I think it's also her time, if I had to say.
It would be disingenuous to disregard narratives. They are as important to your Tony campaign as the quality of the work you're doing itself. Jeff, any other comments?
I would have put Jessica Vosk in this category. That's just me. But yeah, I think Casey's.
I will say that was the biggest snub, more than the Leah Michelle snub for me, was Jessica Vosk being, as much as you could say whatever y'all want about Beaches, and I get that she was singing in that show and acting. I thought she was amazing in Beaches, but
yeah,
I digress.
No, I've been very vocal that I have no qualms with this category. I think everyone in here is who I would have put in. When people were going off about the Leah Michelle snub, I'm like, girl, if I was going to put anyone in here instead of Leah, it would be Jessica Vosk.
Totally.
Honestly, I would even put in Kristen over Leah. Or like, Kristen wasn't fully successful in Versailles, but it was a very new thing for her. And I thought she was more successful than not in a show that was not successful. But no, it's Casey. I think it's a combination of things. It's Casey has a really great role in a show that people really love, with a role that has yet to be awarded. It always gets nominated, has yet to actually win. In a weird way, it's like kind of honoring the legacy of the role and the women who've come before her, like Marin. And Casey's also just really, really, really well liked. She is a kind person, a hard worker. She is consistent. She shows up for the community. She works all the time. I've been very vocal that like I think she might be the most misused, talented woman on Broadway. Where like I think she's so talented, and I think she's miscast like 60% of her career.
I will say that.
How do you think she would have done in Lost Boys?
Well, it could have been a supporting role, but it wouldn't have, because Shoshana isn't a supporting, right?
I think I think she would have been a double nominee if she were in Lost Boys. But also, I wonder if we can talk about that more with supporting as well. Because the thing about Casey that I love about her, and I wish more people took advantage of, is like she's really good at pouring in 100% like emotion and commitment into something. And the problem is that the roles that tend to require that of her are roles that I don't always think she's the right vocal fit for. Like much as I think she's strong in Ragtime vocally, I don't think it's quite the fit. She's got such a contemporary sounding voice.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. And sounds lovely, but like you think about what Carmen Cusack could sound like, it's like you want those thick Marin folds. And then when there are roles that like are a vocal fit for her, like Frozen or Ghost, it's like, girl, they don't give you any acting to do. She unfortunately has to stand there and like worry about her placement. But so you watch her in Next to Normal, if you saw her in Murder Ballad, you know that she can give it to you. And I think of all of the roles I think she's not quite right for, Ragtime is the one she's most right for and is platformed well enough for a win. I probably personally would vote for Marla, which may be less of a heavy lift in some people's eyes, but is more of a fit. I would describe it similar to when Marissa Jarrett Winokur won for Hairspray over Bernadette for Gypsy. Rose is the more impressive role, but Marissa was the better fit for her role. But also, I don't think Casey's as controversial a fit in Mother as Bernadette was as Rose. I think more people just find her successful. And also, Casey has never been nominated or won. So if Bernadette had never won before Gypsy, she would have probably won. But as you said, Richie, it's Casey's time. And I will not be mad if she won for this. I think this is a less egregious win than like for me than Stephanie J. Block in Cher Show, you know?
Right. No, I agree with all of that. I also think Casey, I do think Casey was robbed of a nomination for Frozen. I think those vocals are really hard. And I thought she was good. And I didn't like that show overall for the most part, but I thought she had some tough moments, and the vocals, that's a big second act song. One of the
I'm just trying to remember who was nominated over her. Because I think that was the year we had more than one. I think we had 6 in that category that year.
Yeah, and she wasn't even nominated for that. So that's why I thought that was.
What year was that?
I don't.
That was 2018. That was Katrina Langford Band's Visit who won.
Okay,
that
right.
was Taylor Lautner for Mean Girls. I stand by both of those nominations.
Mhm.
Haley Kilgore for Once on This Island. Stand by that. And
Totally.
then we had LaShawne's for Summer. We had Lauren Ambrose for My Fair Lady. I stand by that. And Jessie Mueller
yeah.
for Carousel. Yeah, honestly, I would have had no problem kicking out LaShawne's or Jessie Mueller for Casey in that year.
Yeah.
Not that Casey would support that. Casey's like, no, let those girls have their nominations because she's a kind soul. But
Yeah.
you
totally.
brought up a subject, Richie.
Yeah, I did.
And you went deep dive.
There we go. That was good, though. That was good.
That was for people who aren't watching this on YouTube. Jeff Richie, was I reading anything when I said any of
No,
that?
not at all.
That
You were
was in
looking
the head.
straight into the camera.
When I went
That was
into
actually
my
really
Duncan play.
impressive because I cannot do that. I can do that sometimes, but not like that. That was cool.
That's my freak party trick.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay. But yeah, I will also say, by the way, I just want to say one more time before the season closes out. In the episode before the nominations came out was right after they had announced the final eligibility rulings and Stephanie Hsu was deemed lead. And I had said to everybody, do we think this could mess things up? Because I think she's quite good in the show.
She is good in the show.
She is.
And I
Her
was blown away by it,
lithography-
especially Act 2. Yeah.
Yeah, when Luke Evans seduces her in the bed, that singular horny leg she does, I'm like, girl,
She was
check
great.
it out.
She gave us, we were talking about this too. At first we were like a little, in Act 1, we were like, all right. And then she fully came into that role in Act 2. And we were like, okay, now we understand why she was nominated.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the arc of the role, though. Like,
Yeah.
Janet has so little in Act 1, so it's really, you have to kind of see the small things she does in Act 1 to even know if she knows what she's doing, because she does. And then when Janet becomes freaky, that's when Stephanie Hsu's like, I'm in control. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And then when she comes out in the final scene with that wig and that, like, I was like, come on, give it to us.
She was great. She was really great.
Stephanie Hsu watching Andrew Duran get his ass eaten out is
That was
amazing.
a trip, that show. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Everyone out here is talking Sarah, come down to me. I'm like, can we talk about the salad tossing of Andrew Durand? Why is the
By
internet
Luke
ignoring
Evans,
this?
I'm pretty sure everyone in Hell's Kitchen would want that.
Yeah. Everyone in Hell's Kitchen would play either role. They would true West style tag team. Friday night, they're Andrew Durand. Saturday night, they're Luke Evans.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. White Lotus, truly everywhere on Broadway this season. Okay. So now it's my turn.
Yes.
I'm going to skip scenic design. I'm going to throw us for a loop here. I'm going to do orchestrations and score. So for best orchestrations, we have
What's the big
Schmigadoon, The Lost Boys, Cats the Jellicle Ball, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, and Chess. Also very solid category. There's nothing here I would really deny. I do want to, once again, I feel like such a Queen of Versailles apologist, but I do think those orchestrations kind of slap.
They were pretty good. Yeah, it was a lush score, that show.
I think Schwartz's score is like a 4.5 out of 10. I think those orchestrations are 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I would say.
So the thing about orchestrations is that the rule tends to go with tied to the best score winner, or usually a revival that has like a major rearrangement, or sorry, not even a revival. It's usually the best score winner or any kind of show that has a specific musical rearrangement. So sometimes it's like a jukebox musical that does something crazy, or it's a revival that does something crazy. So like Sweeney Todd winning for its, Insane Asylum actor musician shit, or Girl from North Country taking Bob Dylan and turning it into, Great Depression era style music. There are exceptions. Some Like It Hot winning orchestrations. Billy Elliot and Next Normal tying for orchestrations when Billy Elliot did not win score.
Yeah.
So there are caveats, but if you're looking for an easy cheat, that's a way to go. So if you are thinking of like what's the most likely score winner, you could go with that. I think Chess and Jellicle Ball are our revival nominees. Of those two, Jellicle Ball I think does something more interesting with the music. So I guess
because it makes you want to listen to it.
Wow, Cats shade. I, for one, like the original Broadway cast recording of Cats. Okay, I will say
Cats has bops.
It does have bops.
I know, but I'm saying like I think many more people would want to listen to a new cast recording of Cats the Jellicle Ball.
Yeah, I think we want it. I think that Jellicle Ball's orchestrations has reminded people, hey, she's always been a bop, but now we've given her a new coat of paint.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say
And that's why I'm picking it for best orchestrations.
there we go. That's your bold statement.
Richie,
Yeah.
are you doing the same?
I'm doing the same, and the only thing I'll say to piggyback off that is when we go into score, there's something about Schmigadoon and the score and the orchestration and something golden agey and that kind of being married together. That like, yeah, could I see it going like score Schmigadoon, orchestration Schmigadoon? Sure, but also I could also see them just doing the complete opposite and going with Cats. But I would say Cats is the one. It just sounds like it was just reinvented in a smart way from the orchestration perspective. So
Yeah. I think we'll talk about this in a second when we get to score. I'm still struggling with how much I buy Schmigadoon could win score. And because of that, I'm having a hard time buying it for orchestrations unless it's some like a hot situation where they're like, there's a better score, but you dress up your music quite nicely.
Right.
And so I think I'm going to go with you guys and I'm going to say Jellicle Ball, but I wanted on the record that I'm seeing Schmigadoon in the corner watching me kiss her.
Well, we'll go into score. We'll talk more about Schmigadoon because I have thoughts on that too.
Yeah. I don't think it's happening for Lost Boys. And it's not happening for Chess, although I do think that Brian Usfer does some really lovely work there.
Yeah. I think the
music
whole
was
orchestra.
Yeah, the music I think in Chess is given, first-rate care by everybody, and so that's really nice. But for this, I think the nomination is the win for him. So I hope he takes that as a blue chip for future endeavors.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. So that's orchestrations. We're all saying Jellicle Ball, although I feel like I'm the only one being like, "Hey guys, Schmigadoon's over there."
Schmigadoon, we're going there next.
So now we have score.
It could be Schmigadoon too, but no, I really think it's going to Cats.
But so now we have for original score, we have Joe Turner's Come and Gone, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, Schmigadoon, The Lost Boys, and Death of a Salesman.
Can I ask something? Well, first of all, we have two plays in here, so that's okay because that's part of that's best original score for the stage. But then I was going through the whole season saying Schmigadoon's not even going to be eligible. It was written for the television, right? It was written for TV. And I'm asking this because I don't know, and I'm wondering if you know, what made the Tony committee make this eligible? Are there enough new songs in this that were not written for TV? Like, I'm asking because I don't know.
We looked at enough that there was enough.
It just seems like there's so many from the Apple TV show. I don't know.
Well, do you want me to tell you what I think is the PR statement for why, or why I think why?
Well, both.
Because
the PR statement is ultimately like that Schmigadoon has kind of been peddling is that Cinco Paul actually wrote like a dozen new songs for Schmigadoon, and it's a combination of things. I don't know the TV show well enough, but from my own sleuthing and a lot of other people's sleuthing, the quote unquote 12 new songs include a lot of songs that were in the TV show but have new lyrics or have like a new arrangement of a song.
Okay.
So he's done work on the score. It's not a total copy paste. And there are 2 or 3 actual new songs.
Right.
And he did change a lot because we did watch the show. And I was like, oh, that song's not the same anymore.
Yeah. So there was.
He definitely redid some stuff. And part of the reason why this category is sort of prickly is like there's a history of best score winners going to scores that had been around for a few years before the show came along, like a certain show that's sitting behind you on your shelf right now of Evita, Tommy. Well, Evita was a concept album.
Yeah.
So it was, and same thing with Jesus Christ Superstar.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah, and so up until Tommy, the idea was, well, if it was written for that property, then when the property comes to the stage, it can still be eligible. And then Tommy was a really big to do because everyone's like, Tommy's fucking 25 years old. How is this a new score? Even if Pete Townsend wrote a couple of new lyrics, and like wrote one new song. And so they altered the rules a bit, and that's always been in flux. My cynical take is, if this were a stronger year for new musicals, Schmigadoon would not have been eligible for score. Ultimately, it was such a wasteland that they were like, fuck it, who cares?
Well, the fact that
I can't believe they didn't nominate Queen of Versailles, but
especially being Steven Schwartz,
hated it. That's all.
Yeah, people didn't like it.
They really fucking hated it.
I mean, when you really look at it, I was like, all right, the score was not that bad. There were some duds in there, but
the Lizard song is a dud. Every Abraham song is a dud, but also I'm sitting here going, I think the 11 o'clock number is actually decent. I think
Yeah.
Caviar Dreams is good. I've said it before. Worst scores have been nominated.
Yeah.
Urban Cowboy, where you at?
Right.
See me with them hands. You know what I mean?
I mean, with this, I mean, my gut and my vote's going with Schmigadoon. I think it's getting a lot of love right now. It's the golden age score that we haven't had in a very long time for an original golden age-esque score. I know maybe Happy Ending had elements of golden age-esque, but it was more jazz and more pop jazz. It wasn't really like that lush orchestral. That I just think there's some funny numbers in there. I do have a personal love for that TV show and the score, so that's just where I go because I like it, and that's just kind of where I'm voting.
When in doubt, go with what you like.
Yeah,
Jeff.
I am also going with Schmigadoon, but I could see possibly Two Strangers winning for original score.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. Because I'm asking myself, do I see Schmigadoon winning the Triple Crown of musical score and book? And right now, I can't fully bring myself to see that world.
Yeah.
I can see it winning book. And then I ask myself, okay, well, Matthew, if you don't see it winning score, what do you see winning score? And it's not The Lost Boys, and it's not Joe Turner's Come and Gone, and there ain't enough Tony voters in the world with big enough balls to vote for Death of a Salesman over 3 eligible musicals.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
None. Or sorry, or uterus is big enough. Sorry, or ovaries big enough. I want to be equal footing here.
Yes.
So ultimately, I go down to Two Strangers, which is a show that I thought was cute, not great, but
Same.
But I do ultimately think that the score for me worked better than the score for Schmigadoon. Schmigadoon is a show that I thought was pretty funny, but I didn't laugh a lot, especially with the songs.
Okay.
But that's just, not that the songs are bad. It's more sort of when it's so obvious to me what the parody of the song is, I'm like, well, now I just want to listen to the title song from Oklahoma. Like, now I just want to listen to Do Re Mi.
Right.
But that's me in a nutshell. Like, I think The Two Strangers has some good lyrics. It's got some clunky lyrics, but what scores these days doesn't. So it's not even like I think it's the best score. I'm just thinking if Two Strangers is going to get thrown a bone anywhere, it's going to be this category. Or listen, I was wrong earlier. I thought that like a couple of voters were going to throw some bones at Queen of Versailles and give them like a pity set, costume, and score nomination.
Right.
Also, because like those categories are sort of also like wastelands, and they didn't do it. So it's entirely possible that voters are going to be ruthless and they're going to say, "Sorry, Two Strangers, that's one too many stranger for me, and that's not enough cake, and you're not carrying it nearly across New York." So
I kind of lean that way with that show too, but I digress because
Like, I'm
I
sorry.
do think it has like the effect of like there are some memorable songs in there that people like and are listening to. So maybe
You said that with such a pained look, Jeff. You're like,
Strangers. I don't know because it just like it didn't fully sit with me, that show. But whatever.
no, I liked it fine. I had heard such delightful things about it, and of course, I try to go into everything putting that at bay. But then, listen, it's not the show's fault, but like the Two Strangers fandom got as annoying as the Operation Mincemeat fandom, and I'm like, whatever I thought of the show, I'm starting to hate it because of you. So you need to just shut the fuck up.
I feel like that with I'm also took Two Strangers really literal. I don't know if it was just the mood I was in when I was seeing it that day, but it was like no one would ever be asked to carry a cake in different boxes like that from a bakery. Like I was sitting there like,
especially a wedding
why
cake.
did the spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it? Why did the top fall off? The cake would never be given from a baker to someone in 5 different boxes like that and expected to. And I was like, that's where my brain was. I couldn't get over it. And everyone was like, Richie, it's a musical. I'm like, I know, but like that bothered me.
And someone with a Black American Express is not buying a cake that way either. So
yeah, right. Like I just
and like not having it personally delivered by professionals.
Yeah, I didn't buy that at all. So that was like a real like that weighed me down a lot. And I'm like, no, but then there was cute moments. I kept saying it's cute, it's cute, it's so cute, it's cute, and that was about it,
Yeah.
But-
I need maybe it's because I just saw it yesterday, so it's on my brain, but I really do need a lot of musical theater dramaturgs and book writers to watch movies like Obsession and Get Out and God, what was the other one? Those are the only two on my brain right now. But like these more modern horror films that like give you just enough answers that you understand what the setup is, but don't give you too much information, because the more information we get, the more questions we have. Weapons. That was the third one I was thinking of. Like, you can't give us you can't say too many specific things to explain whatever, because then we're gonna have questions about other shit. So, like, give us enough of a setup, have us buy into the world, and keep that shit moving. And Two Strangers is a show that should be 90 minutes, in my opinion. Part of it is that, like, when you stretch it out that way, like, you start to see the thinness of the taffy. And then, like, there are all these things about Christiane Pitts' character that we learn to, like, answer whatever questions we have. And I'm like, okay, but now I've got 30 more questions.
Totally. I get that.
But also, like, I think what it has in its corner is the true originality of it all. It's a fully original story. It's a fully original piece. I think that a lot of voters will enjoy that element of it. It does still have an underdog quality to it. It's had an underdog quality all year long. The biggest problem, besides what we all think about it, no one's listening to us and going, well, those three gays said so I feel good writing it off.
Right.
But it's ultimately that they have not been able to recreate buzz during the Tony season. It still has a leg in the race, but it's not really grappling people right now in the way that Schmigadoon kind of has.
Right.
And so whether Schmigadoon is worthy or not in my eyes, it is objectively capturing voters in a way that just Two Strangers isn't. So this isn't a gut feeling. This is me overanalyzing and going, I'm thinking Two Strangers for score. But my gut's like, I don't know, Matt, are you really that prejudiced that you can't see Schmigadoon winning the Triple Crown? Especially when we've had quite a few musicals in the last few years like do that. We've had a maybe Happy Ending, Kimberly Akimbo, Hamilton, Fun Home, what have you, Evan Hansen, Band's Visit. But yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm trying to think for a second. Since COVID, I think we've had 2 musicals since COVID win score without winning musical. The Nothing and only Suffs winning book and not musical. So if you're gonna win,
I wonder if I do wonder more and more in the world of the post-COVID world of like trying to sell tickets, trying to keep Broadway alive and like keep the Broadway art form going. I wonder if there's this sense of the spread the wealth mentality of like, if everybody wins 1 or 2 Tony Awards, then everybody can put the billboard up on the title that says we're a Tony winning musical, even if you won 1. Is there anything wrong with that? It's marketing, but
do voters care?
But I don't know if voters care like that or vote like that. I would love to know if some do, because no, let's spread the wealth here because every show needs this. I don't know.
I think there are some voters who think that way. It's not nearly the large percentage that people like to think. It's the road vote that people like to talk about that we've debunked it enough times on this podcast that if you're a regular listener, y'all know that the road vote is real, but it's not a deciding factor. It's really only the deciding factor when it's like down to the wire.
Yeah.
But even then, you have to ask yourself, if you're a road presenter, how are you voting? Are you voting for the thing that would need the Tony win to help sell it, or the thing where you're like, this is such an easy win, give it a Tony and I can fucking jack up all the prices? I don't know. I don't know your life, Daniel, who's the name I'm assuming of that Tony road voter. I think most voters genuinely just think about what they liked the most. And I think when they come to spreading the wealth, it's more about asking themselves, do I like this show enough to give it all of these awards? I don't know if I do. Who am I sort of iffy on? Oh, I can give that to so-and-so, because maybe Happy Ending, no problem giving it 6. Band's Visit, they had no problem giving it 9 or 10. There are exceptions, but I don't think there's any new musical this season that a large number of voters are like, absolutely, down the line. So that's where I'm thinking like book and score could go in different directions. But I'm going to stick to Two Strangers. I'm probably going to regret it once we go off mic, but that's where I'm at in this moment.
All right.
Okay.
And I do want to make one comment about the Lost Boys score.
Yes, love.
Okay.
Because I do feel that it had great potential for an original score here if they kept the style of Act 1 and they kept more of this eerie, like angelic harmonizing with the vampires, and they kept it going throughout the piece. And it just kind of makes me make this comment around like, when we don't really have musical theater writers that are like from that time where they wrote like through themes, it's like we are seeing that in the new scores now that they're not writing how we know musical theater. It's like something that like it just stuck out for me. It stood out for me because I was like, oh wait, that was a really beautiful moment, but we never got it again.
Yeah. Motifs are important, y'all.
Yeah.
They have like there's some of that in Lost Boys. There like Michael has his whole like I don't want to be alone. I want to find my something or whatever that is. Like they use that a little bit. And then the finale of the whole show is like kind of a one day more ish sort of thing. Where
Yeah,
they're
it feels
like,
like
We're like,
yeah,
what's
we can
going
make
on
it through the
here?
night with no more monster superpower, and I'll be with you. Like it's all of that shit, and then and whatever. But I think for a first score from people who have never been in this world, the Rescues did a very commendable job. There's stuff there, but yeah, it is sort of the Sarah Bareilles didn't write a good musical theater score by accident. She's a musical theater freak who knows her shit.
right.
And like found a way into fame and money through a certain career, but has proven herself time and time again. Like she's a musical theater girly.
Right.
So
And not everyone, not all the pop people are. I remember the Ingrid Michaelson not getting nominated for Notebook score. She was pissed about that. I remember her being like reading about that, and she hasn't been back since. And
But she ended every song on the same note. I'm like, what's going on here?
I mean, the opening song was literally just time. But like the beautiful music in the Notebook. But I remember when she wasn't nominated, I kind of nodded my head. I was like, good. Like she needs to write a second score now.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
now
that
right now
second
go
score
and
will
work
be
on
better.
another one. Right. Like don't just say I'm done now because you didn't get nominated, but it seems like that's what she did, but who knows? But
No, I mean she was hurt. She worked very hard on it. I understand that, but I would love it if she came back with something else at some point. Because there were songs in the Notebook that I really liked, but other songs like I've said it before. For me, My Days is the Let It Burn of that season. Of like it's a song where the whole thing that people love is that the actress just goes higher and higher and higher.
right.
Like everyone in the Lost Boys.
Wow, good one, Jeff.
Wow, Jeff really hates gay vampires. Okay,
all right,
gentlemen.
where are we going next?
Wait, you got a big...
So okay,
What?
we have so far done lighting,
did
costume, and sound design of musicals and plays. We've done orchestrations and score. We've done director of a play and musical, and we've done leading actress of a musical.
But you didn't do a big one. You only did orchestrations.
I think orchestrations and score combined is an
okay, fine.
All right, we're gonna. So all right, so I'm gonna take us back to where. Can I go next? Am I next?
Go for it.
I'll do. All right, so I'm gonna do scenic design of a play, scenic design of a musical, and then we're gonna jump to choreo.
Okay.
Okay.
So scenic design of a play.
Yes.
We have Oedipus, Bug, Dog Day Afternoon, Death of a Salesman, and Fallen Angels. There's a reason to vote for any of these guys.
Totally.
Yeah, there really is.
Totally. I'm like blown away by what that Dog Day Afternoon set and how fast it was moving and like how intricate we were in and out. And I know that's technology and it is part of the design, but I was just kind of really like fascinated by that. It was one of the best parts of that show for me was just how extremely quickly it felt like I was on a ride in Disney or something. Like it was just moving. But I also loved the Fallen Angels set. And so I'm kind of just torn between those two completely different sets. I don't know. Just sitting on those two right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Dog Day Afternoon set didn't move fast enough for me. Those scene transitions, I was like,
yeah, I just was kind of cool that there was no track. It was like, I don't know the technology behind that, but it was really cool. I was just kind of thought it was cool.
There's something about Death of a Salesman's scenic design here that's just like it's really what brought me into the show. And like I found so many details happening on that stage where I'm like looking around and I'm saying, oh look, that's part of a memory, that's this over here, like let's see this actor over here, and it like worked in so many different ways. So I'm like a toss up between Death of a Salesman and Fallen Angels, but I just feel like there's just a vivid memory and like piece of Death of a Salesman that stands out for me in the scenic design.
Listen, there's something here for everyone. Like Fallen Angels is a beautifully opulent Art Deco set. Death of a Salesman is stark but striking and serves the purpose of the production. And while it may seem simple, it holds a lot of surprises within. Dog Day Afternoon, very literal but impressive, and as you like, does move very fluidly. It's a very detailed and impressive set. Bug also very detail oriented with a major reveal in the second act. Yeah. And then Oedipus, again, stark and sleek, but very intricate and very well spaced out. It's a very good It's a very good category. I'm going to go with Dog Day Afternoon here. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. That said, because I think part of me is also going like, how many wins can Salesman actually have? Similar to like the Schmigadoon of can it get the Triple Crown? I'm like,
Right.
could Salesman genuinely just get like 8 Tonys that night?
It could.
It could. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
And so I'm more sort of looking at like what are the weakest Jenga pieces that like could easily get pushed out. And I do think that score, scenic, and we'll get to it, but like featured actor in a play, I think those are its 3 weakest categories and could win. But it's a thing where, again, voters are like, I already have it in 6 slots. Must I give it a 7th?
Right.
So that's the only thing for me that I'm like, that's kind of keeping afternoon. But Jeff, didn't you say Oedipus for sound? Was that your thing or was that Richie's thing? Or did we all say Salesman for sound?
You were
design?
talking sound a little bit because of the clock ticking and all that.
For Oedipus, yeah.
I put Oedipus for sound.
Yeah. So like if Oedipus wins sound, like, I don't know, Salesman could then win scenic design. Like this is how we balance it out.
It could.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's happening for Bug. I don't think it's actually happening for Oedipus. I do think it's down to Afternoon and Salesman. And I think because I think Fallen Angels has a much stronger chance in costume. That's why I don't think the set's gonna happen. Beautiful as that set is. Dave Rockwell knows how to design an apartment, honey.
Yeah.
I was like, can we live there?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Cool.
Okay, scenic
All right.
design of a musical.
Go.
Richard
I mean,
O'Brien. Say what now?
I think this is easy, but
Oh, okay. Go.
Oh yeah, Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, Cats the Jellicle Ball, The Lost Boys, and Schmigadoon. While I think that the winner is rather easy, I also want to say I think this is a really good lineup.
yeah.
I think everyone's serving a little something different and very worthwhile. I'm gonna go with Lost Boys with a potential Schmigadoon upset.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would Lost Boys too. I didn't think Schmigadoon because I think I actually saw they did a video somewhere about it. A lot of it's hand painted and like it's really just I always appreciate that. And I think, it's interesting when you look at all of these, like there's almost no, let me look again before I say what I'm about to say. There's almost no projections used in any of these designs. Nothing wrong with the projection design, but we've had some shows that are so projection heavy that I think we're dealing with 5 literal use sets, maybe.
Jellicle has a little bit, but it's part of the thing, like the category projections.
Category.
And the overture they do a projection of that. But
yeah.
But no, it's a literal. It is overall a literal set. It's not
Yeah.
projections in the way that Ragtime's doing projections.
Right. I think Lost Boys
I really
is the
think
win. I think so.
While I thought that the Rocky Horror was cool in like bringing some stuff out there, some of it felt a little clunky like on the actual stage, and then Jellicle Ball, I'm comparing the set to it off Broadway, and I just feel like I was a little bit more immersed into it when it was at PAC. So I mean, I love what they did with the staircase on Broadway, which was cool, but I don't think that's bringing it to the level that they're gonna award it. So
Jellicle Ball is not winning for this.
Right.
I agree. Like I think everyone who saw it downtown and on Broadway, I think overall it is an improvement on Broadway. The one thing that's kind of lost is the length of that runway, and just by the sheer design of PAC, you are environmentally in it. But I do think they do a really strong job of keeping that energy alive for Broadway.
Yeah.
And yes, and while the runway may not be longer, yes, the staircase is an improvement. Thank you for saying her name, Jeff.
She's a character.
She is.
That was very good.
And then you had choreography next. Was that
Choreo next? That's where we're going.
okay? Oh no, wait, Richie, what did you have? You had Lost Boys as well.
I had put Lost Boys, and I had put a shout out to Dot's Rocky Horror Show. I don't think that's going to win, but I do love everything Dots does. I just always, whenever I see scenic design by Dots, I'm like, this is cool. I just like what they do.
Just not. Didn't they do?
They did O'Mary, right?
No,
they did...
what at Lincoln Center last year?
They did Floyd Collins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
I liked it.
It's fine.
I know. Nothing like a musical about crawling through caves, but there's nothing on stage. Anyway, continue. No, I'm kidding. No,
Bob Crowley won a set design for designing a bar for once. I'm just saying. Sometimes it's not about most, it's about best.
You're right.
No, but I hear you. I know why people didn't like the design for Floyd Collins. I think it ultimately was the double-edged sword of them being in that theater of it's such a
right.
cavernous space. Like if they had the same design in the booth, I think everyone would have gone.
Right,
But,
right,
yeah.
right.
I know, but I hear you. I hear you.
All right.
Okay, choreography.
Choreo.
Christopher Gattelli for Schmigadoon. Christopher Cree Grant, and Lauren Yalongo Grant for The Lost Boys. Arturo Lyons and Omari Wiles for Cats the Jellicle Ball. Eleanor Scott for Ragtime, and then Ani Taj for Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show. I love that Ani Taj is in here.
Yeah.
The choreography for Rocky Horror is messy, but like on
and
purpose
also
messy.
it's just when you have the
It's just
time
a
warp when you
jump
have
to
to
the
do the
left.
choreo that the time warp is literally saying in the lyrics. And I also thought Rocky Horror, I know the script and score doesn't really call for it, but I would have loved if there was like 15 people in the ensemble. I don't know, like beef it up.
It needed some more people. There's a reason why
Yeah.
Sam Pinkleton ultimately wasn't nominated, even though the production was nominated for a lot. And it's that there are a lot of individual things about it that work, but there's something about the production as a whole that doesn't fully congeal.
Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this choreo is really tough for me. Maybe it's not as tough for y'all, but for me, it's between two, and it's really tough.
I think I know the two you think it's between.
Okay, what do you?
Jeff.
Definitely Ragtime.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding. I mean,
I thought Eleanor Scott did a really lovely job with Crime of the Century, but that's really the only number where I'm like, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, there's certain moments in Ragtime where I'm just like, ugh, we missed it. Like, I hate how Success is done.
Yeah.
But she's
We just watched the performance of Cats on The View, and I'm like, I rewatched that choreo now, and I'm like, no, like they have to win.
Yeah, but like,
I mean, it's to me, it's between Cats and Schmigadoon. It's really, really completely different shows like no other. But I just think what those people are doing in both those shows and the design and how effortless it looks in both shows, it's hard. I don't know. That could be, that could come down to a couple votes.
I think it could. Both shows nail their assignment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I think I am ultimately going with Jellicle Ball.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's because it's my gut.
Yeah,
it's not even it is what I prefer, but that's not why I'm picking it. It's just I'm going with my gut of like there's something within me. I feel like I'm starting a Disney song right now, a Disney I Want song right now. But something within me that just truly believes that Jellicle Ball is going to walk out on Tony night with like 5 Tonys minimum, maybe 4, but I think like 4 or 5 Tonys, and I think one of those is choreography, and if anything is beating it is absolutely Christopher Gattelli for Schmigadoon. It is down to those two.
Yeah.
What could get Gattelli the award is just the momentum that Schmigadoon has and a chance to vote for it in other categories. But also, like, I think that, like, if they're winning the Triple Crown, I don't think Gattelli's going to win choreography because it's like, it's got the 3 big ones. Great.
Right.
Cats. But you have to ask yourself, like, how large is the percentage of voters who like are on board with the new of it all of Jellicle Ball, and how large is the percentage of voters who are like, I love a pivot turn and an aerial lift. Right.
And it's so tough. I never thought I'd be sitting here talking about 2 of the most completely opposite shows for choreo and that they'd be neck and neck, but that's the beauty of the art form, right? So
I'm sold on the voguing to Jellicle Ball on its own, where we got dip after dip after another dip.
Yeah. I think what would be this isn't a ding against it, but what I could imagine being an obstacle for certain voters is because the choreography is so seamlessly integrated and the cast performs it so well, it could seem to the untrained eye that it's all improv and like nothing's really set in stone. They work around the choreo, like it's more of a guideline and they do what they want on the day. That shit is locked in.
Oh yeah.
And it's like they're doing it at the exact same time. I don't think it's not messy at all.
Right.
So like when I see this, I'm like, wow, all of their hands are moving at the exact same time. That's like, come on.
I think that Jellicle Ball deserves orchestrations and choreography for the hand claps in the opening number alone when they go the Jellicle Cats, all queens of the night.
on 2 and 4.
Mechanical cats are queens of the night, singing at astronomical. Okay, I can't keep going.
I love it.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So there we go.
Cool. Where are
who's
we
that,
now?
Richie?
Now that was mine. So who's
Oh, this is you,
yours?
Jeff. Sorry.
Is it me?
You got to
Oh,
choose.
dun, 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 dun.
Well, there
It's
aren't many
you.
small and big left anymore, unless we do the sportings as small.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on who you consider small. You can.
Right.
I think now we're in the bigs, so you can do two bigs. We'll
Two big.
each do two big ones.
We're doing two bigs. Let's do Book of a Musical and Revival of a Play.
Ooh.
Love it. Revival of a Play. Which one do you want to do first?
Book of a Musical.
Okay. Our nominees are Jim Barn and Kit Buchanan for Two Strangers, parentheses, Carry a Cake Across New York, and parentheses, also across for short. Ty Blue, Marla Mendel, and Constantine Rizzoli for Titanic, Chris Hawk and David Hornsby for The Lost Boys, and Cinco Paul for Schmigadoon. I will just say, I'm a fan of Chris Hawk. I love that David Hornsby, aka Cricket from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, is a Tony nominee. And there you have it. My personal vote would be Titanic. However, I know that it has a snowball's chance in hell, so that's not what I'm predicting.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's
I
funny.
think
I didn't put it as mine.
So I put it as mine
Interesting.
because I
think
really think it is the most different thing. It's just so different and it's so funny. And I know not every Tony voter is going to find it to be that funny and different. I get that.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just my personal choice, but I really could see Titanic coming out with one Tony Award and it's for book. I don't know. Maybe that world exists.
Listen, I would love it. I would love it so hard. I would love.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, I can't imagine a book with the line "eggplant in her ass" appealing to voters. Granted, we also have the same voters who voted for a Strange Loop winning book, and that has the line, "Oh, so you think you're too good for AIDS?" And I think Strange Loop had the benefit of the Pulitzer and other larger themes at its disposal, which is not to negate Strange Loop. Everyone knows I fucking adore that show.
Yeah.
But I do look at that with Titanic. I'm like, okay, that gives Titanic a case to potentially win.
Mhm.
But I just think it's the best one of these four. I think, and granted, I think the Broadway iteration is a little weaker than the off-Broadway iteration. They added some material that is not as good. Like they added some stuff for Jim Parsons that I just think is sort of fluff and weak.
Mhm.
Some jokes have now added like an extra budum-tsh to them for Broadway audiences. Like they have the spread eagle line in the show, which just it off Broadway. It was just did he do number 17, the spread eagle, and now they've added Marla Mendel coming out and going, he had it coming, but
Right. They have
yeah,
to.
and I'm like,
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like that's for Betsy from Long Island, who's like, oh right, that is Chicago.
Right. And they needed to do that because it's going to tour now, right? I mean, they have to,
Yeah.
there's audiences.
I get why.
Yep.
But although ultimately of all of these four, I think it's the one that hits the closest bullseye of the target it has set.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But this is where I'm like cynical and I go, I think that they're gonna go for Schmigadoon.
I think they could too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did. What did you put, Jeff?
I put Titanic.
Oh, you put Titanic as well.
Yeah.
So
So I want to live in
Us
your reality,
theater
guys.
boys are like,
I will say,
Titanic.
it would be really cool for Titanic or Schmigadoon to win as these like wild comedy shows. And a lot of times, not always the top musical of the year is the like raucous, like silly slapstick comedies. Not really always when you look at the history of it. So to see that Titanic and Schmigadoon are in there as these like silly, like outlandish comedies, good for them, for getting up there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Titanic, I have it as third of most likely. I do think it's Schmigadoon followed by Two Strangers, followed by Titanic, just in terms of likelihood.
Yep.
I feel like Two Strangers is kind of second place in both score and book right now.
I
in
can
terms
see it
of
going that way.
it's kind of a tough situation where I don't see it winning both. I see it could potentially win one while also not winning musical, but also again, I think because so much air has been deflated out of that balloon, I don't necessarily see it happening. Listen, if Titanic does win, gentlemen, you are not going to hear a fucking peep out of me. You know I'm going to be thrilled. I'm going to piss myself.
All right.
My cynical self is taking over, and I don't think that the script for Schmigadoon is bad. I just think that Titanic's is better, and I just see too many silly people who will go, it's on an hour and 45-minute musical that
Right.
does a Beauty and the Beast chunk with smarter. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
bitch, I did.
Right. I still think the Beauty and the Beast moment is so funny. I find it funny every time they do it, and I've seen it a million times, and I just think it's so funny.
I will always, I'm sorry, I will always laugh at favorite color, burnt sienna.
Yeah, there's just moments where you laugh every time. I get it.
Every fucking time. It's also like, do you trust me? I trust you. I barely know you. Oh, okay. Like it's
Witty. It's so
Oh
funny.
my God.
yeah.
And I'm so glad they kept the Patti LuPone bit every time. I was
Yeah.
hoping that was not going to get cut. I'm glad they kept that.
No, they're too lazy to cut it.
Sync for your life, boats.
The lip sync.
Oh yeah, the time to lip sync for your life. Boats.
Boats.
It's so-
So
yeah.
fun.
Okay. So you guys think it's Titanic. I think it's Schmigadoon. Do you have Schmigadoon as your number 2 or Two Strangers as your
No,
number 2?
Schmigadoon's my
Schmigadoon
number
is-
2.
I don't think
Yeah.
Two Strangers was a complete book, so I don't know how it can win. But hey,
Okay. Well, wow.
Listen, they gave it to Cats, so you know. Okay.
They gave Best Book of the Musical to Cats a long time
Yeah,
ago.
but it was the same year as Merlin. Like, what were they gonna do?
Oh yeah.
They were given the option of a man and not a bear, but an animal, and they went with the bear. You know.
Right.
Yeah. So okay.
All
My
right.
turn now.
Yes.
I am going to do featured actor in a play and featured actress in a musicale.
oh wait, we didn't do my second one.
What was your second
What
one?
do you mean?
The revival of a play.
Oh, right, we didn't. That's right.
They're
We spent
jumping.
so long
Listen.
talking about the goddamn book. I'm sorry,
everyone
Jeff.
listening
one-
here, they're leaving me in the corner.
No, best revival of
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty quick.
All
Becky
right.
Shaw, Death of a Salesman, Every Brilliant Thing, Fallen Angels, Oedipus. I just want to say, fucking take out Every Brilliant Thing and put in Marjorie Prime, and we have a perfect category.
Mm.
I'm done. Okay. So clearly, it's Every Brilliant Thing. No, it's Salesman.
It's Salesman.
Which
It's
on
Salesman
the
for
record
sure.
here, we'll say we did not see Every Brilliant
We
Thing.
did not see Every
That's the
Brilliant
only
Thing.
thing
It's
we
the
didn't
only
see.
We didn't get there.
Well, they're not winning jack shit, so that's not gonna
Yeah.
matter.
Right. It's the only thing we
But-
didn't get to. We could eventually get to it now that it's a new cast.
Yeah, no, we'll have a
Um,
couple of listeners who'll be mad. They didn't see Every Brilliant Thing. They're illegitimate, but it's okay.
Well, did they want to buy our $400 ticket? Because
Yeah.
I was not.
The last row of the rear mezzanine is like $250 or something. So
well, now you can
And-
see
well, I
Ray
don't know,
Baruchka
whatever.
for $40. So
Yeah.
And we asked many people, do we need to see it? And they said no. So
that's the revival of a play is super egregious for me. We'll get to this with actor. Like Daniel's nomination, I was predicting, and I think it's very earned. Revival, I think, is silly, but yeah, it's Salesman. We all know that, right?
Salesman.
Yeah.
Totally Salesman.
Salesman,
1,000%. That's got to be the win.
1,000.
Okay, so featured actor in a play and featured actress in a musical. Featured actor in a play. We have Christopher Abbott in Death of a Salesman, Danny Burstein and Marjorie Prime, Brandon J. Dearden for Waiting for Godot, Alden Ehrenreich for Becky Shaw, Ruben Santiago Hudson for Joe Turner's Come and Gone, and Richard Thomas for The Ballisters. I have it down to 3, which sounds lame
No, that's
But-
okay. It's better than all 6.
because we have Christopher Abbott for Salesman, who I think is a possibility, but I think he is the weakest chance in acting they have for that revival.
Mhm.
Alden Ehrenreich for Becky Shaw, who I think is a very strong chance, but also would be the only win for Becky Shaw. And then we have Ruben Santiago Hudson, who's playing a role that has won before, so there's precedent, and Joe Turner's Come and Gone, but similar to Alden, would be the only win for his show. Now,
Mhm.
granted, featured is a category where voters have no problem making it the solo win in the past. Last year was Frances Ju for Yellowface. The year before that was Cara Young for Pearly Victorious. We also had Jack Malone last year for Operation Mincemeat. When it comes to featured, it's yeah, sure, they can be the lone.
Yeah.
So I think I'm, in my gut, I have it down to Alden and Ruben. I'm going to say Alden. I think that Becky Shaw is a show that it feels to me most people have really enjoyed it. And the vote for Alden is also a vote for the company for a show that's not going to win Revival. Because Joe Turner's not nominated for Revival, because no one else from the company is nominated. Ruben also is a previous winner. So I don't know. I think right now I'm saying Alden. I think tomorrow I'm going to say Ruben. So on this mic right now I'm saying Alden. But for anyone who's you were wrong, just know that I woke up the next day and I said Ruben.
What do you have?
I have it down to 2 as well, but mine is for Christopher Abbott and Alden Ehrenreich. And I would love a world that Alden wins.
Were Alden wins or Abbott wins?
No, Alden.
Alden. I said Alden.
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 Alden?
You
Alden?
you say Alden, I say Alden.
What if his name was Alden Abbott?
Then I would tell him to jump in the river. Richie?
Because he was actually my favorite part of Becky Shaw. And
Yeah, he was
I
great.
thought like that his acting he brought it throughout the whole piece, and I was blown away by him. So yeah, I would love that. But I also see a world where Christopher Abbott wins as well. So
Richie?
I have Ruben Alden and Christopher Abbott too. I think Christopher Abbott's given incredible text, and I know that it's not always about that, and Ruben is too. I just think I just was really captivated by Christopher Abbott's performance in Death of a Salesman. But I do see this going towards Ruben. I know he's a Tony winner before. He had some great moments. He was one of the strongest parts of that show, and I can see the Tony voters going that way for a show that didn't get much else, too.
Yeah.
So that's a tough game.
He's absolutely the best performance in that production, as is
Oh, yeah.
Alden, honestly. I think that's kind of maybe that's kind of why I'm leaning away towards Abbott, where granted I saw it early in previews, but at the time I did not think he was one of the strongest performances in the show. As I understand it, he has grown a lot over the course of the run. But whereas like Alden and Ruben really stick out in their productions, I feel like Christopher Abbott is like a part of a tableau with Laurie Metcalf and Nathan Lane and the whatnot, you know?
yeah, we saw it after it opened, like a few weeks after.
We did Becky Shaw?
No.
Oh, what?
Death of a Salesman.
Death
And
of a
that's why
Salesman.
maybe we're having a different feeling on him.
Yeah.
Well then, fuck my track. So down to the wire. Richie, you're saying Ruben. Jeff, you're saying Christopher Abbott.
No, Alden.
You're saying Alden. And then I'm saying Alden as well.
Okay.
What happens when Brandon J. Dearden wins and everyone's like, well,
or Danny Burstein,
because when we saw Brandon on here, we were like, okay.
I will say, I'll give a shout out to Richard Thomas in the Ballsters. He plays this kind of interesting guy, and I'm like, you're playing a character that is a step ahead of everyone at all times, and it has that like breakdown 11 o'clock moment, and I'm like, you're good.
You have to be charming, but you're the villain.
Yeah, you're like, that's hard. And I was like, I don't think he's going to win, but shout out to him. I thought that was great that he was nominated.
No, I love this category, and this is the only acting category that has 6, and I'm like, I'm sorry, they all deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Danny's wonderful in Marjorie Prime. It's not happening. And I don't think it's happening for Richard Thomas either. That nomination is the win. Same thing for Brandon, who is the only performance in Waiting for Godot that I fully enjoyed. So I'm happy for him. But yeah, I'm going to say Alden. Okay. Featured actress in a musicale. We have Shoshana Bean for The Lost Boys, Hannah Cruz for Chess, Rachel Dratch for Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Anna Gasteyer for Schmigadoon, Nichelle Lewis for Ragtime. I just want to say, I feel like I vision boarded Hannah Cruz's nomination. I feel like I might have spearheaded Rachel Dratch's Tony campaign for Rocky Horror. And there were people who were thrown that Rachel was nominated. And I'm like, I'm
a little thrown. I would love for you to convince me only because I love Rachel Dratch. Like I truly do. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like not sure what this role is given. Like she's funny. She's the narrator. She's all over the stage. I get it. I just didn't think it was Tony nomination. I don't know.
I think for me, once Shu was put in lead, that's when I went, okay, like Rachel Dratch is my featured for Rocky Horror. And I think that she and Luke Evans and Shu are probably the only performances that I find fully realized in this production. So that's one thing. She's also I hate to, like, you don't want to use the word grounded for Rocky Horror Show, but like she's the grounded center of that show. She kind of keeps it from going off the rails all the time,
right?
Without ever being a wet blanket about it. I find her consistently funny. Just every time she was on stage, I was like, unlike the Arbiter for Chess, I was like, yay, she's back.
Right. And unlike the Arbiter for Justice, I agree with that.
And she's the one who has to deal with the heckling the most. And I understand she had a hard time at the beginning of previews. By the time I saw it, which was like 2 days before they opened, I thought she had it fully together and figured out how to work it, and I found her very, very delightful. There are other women who were not nominated who have moments that I know impress, but ultimately they had parts that were lacking in Act 1 or Act 2 or whatever. So I'm happy Dratch is in here. I'm thrilled Hannah Cruz is in here. My fucking God.
Yeah, she's a
She owes me a bouquet because I'm telling you, I was vouching for that bitch for like 6 months.
I love her in that.
She
I love
walks
her
into this show and she completely steals it, so she totally deserves.
She's the only one on that stage who you believe has fucked anyone before.
Yeah.
I'm like, for a show that's like allegedly all about how no one can keep their hands off of each other, she comes on. I'm like, oh, someone who's been fucked. Like, fantastic. That's a woman who's seen things and done things.
She's amazing in that.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, well, we didn't say who we were. Did we go say who we?
We haven't said who we think is winning. Or
I really think this is Shoshana Bean.
Yeah.
I think it's her time. I think this is her. I do think she's got.
Really love a world where Hannah wins.
Right.
But
totally.
yeah,
I know. It's not happening.
I love a world where she wins, but no.
I would love it too. And I hope she would thank me and her hair designer. But like,
it's. I also think I wasn't really. The Anna Gasteyer, yep, I get that. I didn't think that was going to be the nominee of everyone in Schmigadoon for supporting. Like, I really thought,
because we're big Mackenzie Kurtz
we
fans,
on
and I don't know why she's not on the list.
I know
her character's like non-existent in the second act. That's why.
But Anna Gasteyer is that big 11 o'clock number, right? And I get it. He blows the roof off at the end of the
pudding.
Yeah,
and Nichelle Lewis is great in Ragtime. I'm not saying Nichelle isn't. I just think this is Shoshana's time, and it's her win. And she's got a few great songs in this, and she's the mature woman in that show that kind of carries them. I don't want to say she's carrying the whole show, but in a way, she kind of is. And I felt good every time she came on stage. I don't think it's the most perfect role for her, but I think this is definitely like her time, and it's her Tony time, I think.
I think it's down to Shoshana and Anna Gasteyer, to be perfectly honest. Would love Hannah to win. It's not happening. Rachel, it's not happening. Nichelle,
we can manifest Hannah winning. We can manifest Hannah winning.
We could manifest it. I would love to. I would love to see that happen.
Right.
But I think, and Nichelle has it. I think Nichelle has a shot as well. I think Nichelle would win in sort of like a major sweep for Ragtime. But there's a narrative of like, what if Ragtime wins all 4 acting awards, which has only happened once in the entire history of the Tonys, which was South Pacific in 1950 or 49.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That's wild.
And has never happened at the Oscars. And so you have to ask yourself, like, when you're a Tony voter and you're thinking about like spreading the wealth, and unless something just is so undeniable, just the most undeniable, are you going to sit there and then vote for one show for all the acting when like there are other performances you could absolutely give awards to? And Ragtime has 2 leading performances that I think are just gonna get it. And I think between Ben and Nichelle, I think Nichelle is the most vulnerable in the same way that I think Abbott is the most vulnerable in Salesman. The thing is, between Shoshana and Anna, Anna has campaigned very well and has been doing a really good job. I think Shoshana could win without Lost Boys winning musical. I don't think Anna can win without Schmigadoon winning musical.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't help my argument because I ultimately think Schmigadoon's winning musical.
Yeah. And I mean, in a world where Anna...
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, I know.
I wouldn't know if I was sitting watching Anna Gasteyer win over Shoshana Bean. I would be sitting there saying, well, Shoshana Bean is singing a lot more than Anna Gasteyer. I mean, I would be like disappointed for Shoshana in that way. And I love Anna's character. I don't think she's doing just what Kristen Chenoweth did in the TV show, right? I think she's doing her own thing, and I love that, and good for her. And she's done Broadway before, and she knows what she's doing up there. That would be shocking to me if Anna won, and I love her, but...
I think Shoshana has the benefit of, it's her 3rd time. It definitely feels like, oh, we could really give it to her for this. She and Anna actually kind of have similar trajectories with their characters, which is like they are more prominent in the second act, or rather their bigger moments are in the second act, which is important. Shoshana has the larger role. Shoshana also, like, since COVID, has really started making a career out of being the like normal one in a musical full of wild personalities, whether it's Mr. Saturday Night or Hell's Kitchen or this. And I think that's been a really fun side to her of like these insane vocals and then like just the most dropped in actress.
I know.
Jeff, did you say yet?
Oh, I think it's Shoshana.
Okay, so you both think Shoshana. Then I'm going to say Anna, just because I need this podcast to have like some balance in case you're wrong or I'm wrong. Both sides of the coin are represented.
Love it.
I'm Shoshana with I want Hannah. That's my
Yes.
that's my pick.
Yes. Well, also, listen, the truth is, like, you guys are Mackenzie Kurtz fans. I loved her in Heathers. If I'm nominating a woman and featured for Schmigadoon, for me, it's Izzy Michaela. But
Oh yeah, she's great too. Yeah.
I've been banging that drum since the prom. One of these days, they're going to recognize me in the same way that one of these days, we're going to give Paul Alexander Nolan a real goddamn role in a real goddamn musical.
Yeah, he's playing a lot of smaller, like, he needs like a more prominent. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good.
Understatement, Richie. But
I
moving
know,
on.
we know you're a big fan.
I am. Okay, so Richie, you're next.
All right, we're going actress in a featured role in a play and actor in a featured role in a musical.
Great. Actress in a featured role in a play. Our nominees are Betsy Idem for Liberation, Mary Louise Burke for The Ballisters, Aya Cash for Giant, Laurie Metcalf in Death of a Salesman, and June Squibb for Marjorie Prime. My only note about this category is we had 6 in featured actor in a play. I needed a tie, so we could have got 6 for this category, so Cynthia goddamn fucking Nixon could get in for Marjorie Prime, and then this category would be perfect.
Yeah, and that's a shame that she wasn't nominated for this. I look at this and I say, I don't know, June Squibb being the oldest Tony nomination in history, and she's got the. I mean, I always say, everyone's like, "Who's June Squibb?" I'm like, oh well, there's amazing things about June Squibb, but did you know she was in the original Broadway cast of Gypsy? And everyone's like, "What? What year are we in?" And I'm like, "No, she was in the original Broadway cast of Gypsy with Ethel Merman," and I think that blows people's minds every time I say that. So I don't know if it's going to be like, oh, give it to June. But personally, it's Laurie Metcalf's Tony to me. I think that's where I sit with this.
Yeah, I don't think giving it to June Squibb just because she's older than radio is enough.
I don't know. Sometimes the Tony or Academy Award does that sometimes too. I don't know.
Yeah. And listen, June was also phenomenal in Marjorie Prime. I wouldn't be mad, but yeah. Jeff?
I'm also going Laurie Metcalf on this.
It's Laurie Metcalf.
And also, we did not get to see Mary Louise Burke in the
She was out when
She
we
was
saw
out
it.
for us. So, but the understudy was great.
Yeah, and the character's great.
But we can't compare it. So
Yeah,
that's why
it's a great role. Mary Louise Burke does great. Again, I love this category. The only thing keeping it from being perfect is no Cynthia Nixon for me.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how happy I am that Aya Cash is in here. Adore her and adored her in Giant. Yeah, no, it's Laurie.
Yeah.
Bing, bang,
It's
boom.
Laurie. And one day I want Betsy to win a Tony Award. I really like her. I just like her. I
Listen,
think she's amazing.
She's been around, but also, like, we're just getting the ball rolling on her Tony life. Like, this is her second nomination in 3 years. It's happening, baby. But it's slow.
And what do you think about in this category not having? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. We mentioned her like an hour ago in Dog Day.
Oh, Jessica Hecht?
Yeah, is that weird that she wasn't? I was just thinking, yep, that's an instant one for her. But
no, I'm sleeping fine at night knowing she wasn't nominated for Dog Day. I like the Hecht. I'm a Hecht head, but
yeah, I like her too. Yeah,
Dog Day Afternoon is cutting off most of those actors at the kneecaps. So anyone who I think could be nominated isn't because the show's no good. Same thing, like Carrie Young is lovely in Proof, but like that production of Proof is
not great. Yeah,
it's
was like
junior year of Emerson College.
The first thing people said to us, they were like, "Are you mad about the shutout for Proof?" I was like, "No." I mean, it's like
it was okay.
Are the people who asking you that have they seen this Proof?
No,
because everyone bases it off of the original production, which was great and yada yada. And I'm like, great, but
and they'll
also
be like, "Oh well, I'm seeing it like after Tony's." I was like, "Well, you don't really need to, but."
Yeah. Well, they can go and see Adrienne Warren. That would be nice.
Oh yeah, she's going in.
She's doing a play.
That's interesting.
It'll be interesting. Yeah.
But I think Laurie's got it. I mean, I would love to see that. I think that's
she's winning.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had for some reason my brain went to an SNL moment. Sarah Sherman on SNL on Weekend Update. She always is like roasting Colin Jost. She has one sketch where she's like a psychic and she's saying like, "You're rewatching the teleplay from tonight's broadcast. 20 laughs for Michael, 4 for you. You're improving, but it's slow." In my mind, I just like Betsy Idem's Tony rollout. She's improving, but it's slow.
I know. And I'm like, Betsy Idem. Like I don't know what her next role could be. I wonder if she does musical theater. I don't know if she could do a starring role and leading or instead of supporting. Or
I think if she doesn't win on her third nomination, it's because whatever her third nomination is in is like some play where she doesn't like get the monologue or it closed before Tony's, and then it'll be the fourth one, which is like, okay, here we go.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I think for some reason, she's now starting to bubble as this like, we're gonna give her one soon, right? And
Right.
so yeah.
Right.
Writers, write her something good. Okay, featured actor in a musical. We have Ali Louis Borzguy in The Lost Boys, Andre DeShields in Jellicle Ball, Bryce Pinkham for Chess, Ben Levi Ross for Ragtime, and Leighton Williams for Titanic. Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, this is hard.
it's difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm going with the iceberg bitch.
What a world would it be if Leighton Williams wins this Tony for that? I would love it. I would love it.
Part of me similar to people being like, listen, I feel like, Lear's winning because of all these other awards, people like Richie, but then everyone going, but like, I'd vote for Jellicle Ball. I'm like, yeah, well then wouldn't Jellicle Ball win if that's what everyone's voting for?
Right.
I keep hearing from people going like, not gonna lie, like Leighton Williams really fucking knocked my socks off. I'm gonna vote for that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, could it happen? It's
Totally.
kind of who I would vote for.
And I have Leighton in neck and neck with me for Andre DeShields only because I think Andre is Andre, and Andre had that incredible Tony speech last time he won, and he's so admired in the industry. And I know his Tony legacy came much later in life for him, and I wonder if the second Tony for him is this time, and he's just commands the space and owns the space, and he's got the respect of the industry and then that show. So to me, it's just between Andre and Leighton. That's just where it sits for me.
I think it's between Ben and Leighton, but Andre, I think Andre also is a possibility. I mean, I think Ali, the nomination is the win. Bryce, God bless him, this is his Purple Heart for surviving that book.
Yeah, I don't see this for him. And I like Bryce. I actually really like Bryce in like Holiday Inn.
We all like Bryce. I think that's why he's nominated. It's
Right,
like, we love you.
Yeah.
You had to deal with this. Here's your nomination.
Yeah.
I'm definitely all the way Team Leighton for this. So
Cool.
I think winning and who I want to win. I mean, I do see a world maybe where Ben, but I don't know. I don't think so.
I think Ben has a shot, but also again, it's sort of like when you're sitting there with a ballot and you're going like, can I really give Ragtime 3 acting awards? Like, I think there are some people who think that way. I think they think that way more than they think about like box office or touring. They like look at it and they go, can I really go? Although I think it's online now, so they can't even look down. It's sort of like each category.
It is an online vote now, I think. Yeah.
I feel like Ben's performance when it was at City Center felt more authentic and better, and it kind of like left when it went to Lincoln Center. So I don't know. And I mean, I'm probably with Richie too, where it goes between Andre and Leighton, but I do feel like Andre winning the last Tony was for a better role than what it is for Cats. So, and I think Leighton really steals a lot of the show.
I think also COVID has really fucked people's brains in terms of timeline, because a lot of people go, well, didn't Andre just win? And I'm like, that was 7 years ago, hon.
I know.
Yeah.
COVID did throw people off like
and
that.
if we were saying the same thing, then Laurie Metcalf would never win another Tony again.
Literally, I'm like, it is faster to go through all of middle school and high school than it's been since Andre DeShields last won a Tony Award.
Right.
Just,
Right.
But yeah, my cynical ass is going with Ben, who like is not a bad win, but I agree with you, Jeff. I thought he was strongest at City Center. I felt something got a little lost on Broadway, but he is a talented guy, and I don't think he's bad in the role. I would vote for Leighton. I don't see Andre happening. I think the only way Andre would happen is a combination of he is such a legend, and I think he is good in the show. People go, oh, well, he's just playing Andre. I'm like, okay, well, can you be you on the spot 8 times a week?
Right.
I can't be me when I'm fucking sleeping. But I think also like a vote for Andre is like voting for the company in a way for some voters.
Yep.
I'm going to say Ben is my prediction. Leighton's my vote, though. Leighton is my vote. So if again, similar to Book, if Leighton wins, I'm going to get a text from both of you guys and you're going to be like, how's your underwear? I'm like, girl, she drenched.
I mean, what an incredible thing for Leighton if that happened. I mean, and that show, just like, especially if you don't know Titanic very well and you don't know the iceberg bit is coming, and Leighton's in the like normal sailor suit in the beginning, right? And like, okay. And then to come out like that in Act 2 and do that number like that, I was like, oh my God, wow.
Lip Sync for Your Lifeboats is, I think, objectively the best part of the show. And it's such an adrenaline shot because, like, it's not that the show is sagging by that point, but it's a little less bubbly, tight, like campness. You're like, okay, we're settling in. We're getting to the end, towards the end. And then he just fucking comes in as Tina Turner and just like he's a sniff of cocaine in human form. And oh God, it's just so good.
I'm obsessed.
Got a standing ovation the day that I saw it. Okay.
Very nice. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Jeff, is it your turn or my turn?
Oh, did you just do these?
I did too. No, did
What are we down?
Oh, so yeah, Jeff, it's you. Because it was me, then Richie. Now it's Jeff, it's you.
1, 2, 3.
We have 6 left.
6 left. All right. So, what do I want? Let's do best play and best performance by an actor in a leading role in a musical.
Great.
Okay.
Which one first? Best play? Let's go best play first.
Best play. Okay, whatever you want, Daddy. Okay. Best play, we have The Ballisters by David Lindsay Abaire, Giant by Mark Rosenblatt, Liberation by Bess Wall, and Little Bear Ridge Road by Samuel D. Hunter. Gentlemen?
What do you got?
I really feel like Liberation is taking this for best play.
Richie?
Because of the track record of the Pulitzer Prize, not always winning the Tony for best play, but many times winning, and because of Liberation winning the Pulitzer Prize, I'm going Liberation too.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think that's the root of it. I totally see a world that Giant wins it too, but I just think that I always try to follow when I see they announce the Pulitzer Prize, I'm always like, okay, that's 9 times out of 10, that's the Tony winner usually.
What's interesting is that there have been Pulitzers that did not win play, but I'm realizing now in retrospect, those have been plays that won the Pulitzer off Broadway. And then like a year or two goes by and then they go to Broadway and then they lose best play.
Right.
Liberation is the purpose route where it just won the Pulitzer right before Tony voting for play.
I think that's where it's going. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's correct. So I think we now for leading actor, performance by leading actor in a musical, it'll take just as long. We have Nick Christopher in Chess, Choose, as we like to call him on the podcast, Luke Evans and Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show, Joshua Henry for Ragtime, Sam Tucci for Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, a.k.a. Across, and then Brandon Uranowitz, Ragtime. Richie?
Oh, it's Josh Henry, 1,000%. And with a really close Nicholas Christopher, in my opinion, but I think it's Josh's time. It's Josh's Tony. It's Josh.
It's definitely Josh's Tony. I mean, when I saw Nicholas Christopher's performance, I was like, wow, belt your face off. That's amazing. And definitely is giving Josh a run for his money, or run for the Tony. But I think Josh was winning.
Yeah. I think if anyone doesn't have nervous tummy that night, it's Joshua Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like taking nervous poops to the bathroom during commercial breaks. And Josh Henry's like, what's hard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to Luke Evans. I think he's pretty cool in that role. And it's just,
it's a tight 5. When it was originally 4, I was concerned of like amongst Nick, Luke, and Brandon, who was going to be left off the ballot. Because I felt that Sam and Josh were the only real locks in this category for a long time. And then when they said, oh, well, Andrew Durand is lead, there are going to be 5 nominees. I'm like, oh, we have our 5.
Mm-hmm.
Bing, bang, boom.
Yep.
Zip, zap, zop. Yeah, no, it's Josh. Okay. So next up, okay, so we've done all the featured directors. Okay. I think now we just have musical and revival of a musical. Those are our final 2.
Oh, we have no actor in a leading role in a play and actress in a leading role in a play.
How could I forget? Okay, I'll do the actors then. I'll do actor in a leading role in a play and actress in a leading role in a play. So performance by a leading actor in a play. Will Harrison for Punch, Nathan Lane for Death of a Salesman, John Lithgow for Giant, Daniel Radcliffe for Every Brilliant Thing, Mark Strong for Oedipus. Ultimately, this is down to Nathan Lane and John Lithgow.
Totally.
I think in a weird way, because I don't predict Giant winning play, that it gives me a stronger case for John Lithgow winning. I think he's the lone win for this show. It is while Nathan Lane is, doing masterful work in Salesman, Giant is a bit more of a tour de force for Lithgow. It's a bit more of a focus on him in a weird way. You know what I mean? In a way that I think that will be impressive for a lot of voters. Doesn't make it necessarily better than what Nathan Lane is doing, but I do think Also, once you start racking up a certain number of wins, it becomes harder and harder for people to give you another one, as Audra's now learning. So while this will be John Lithgow's third Tony, it would be Nathan Lane's fourth. And so one would ask, like, do I give Nathan Lane a fourth? I don't know. I'll give John a third.
Yeah, right. It's like, what are we talking?
And what would Laurie Metcalf's be?
Third.
Gosh, third.
She would be third. 3 is an easy number for people to go with.
This is because John won the Olivier, I believe, for this role, right?
He sure
And
did.
so
Yeah.
I think it's going that way, and it is tight. It is neck and neck for Nathan and him. I just think, talking about what you said earlier about Death of a Salesman getting if they're going to just keep giving Death of a Salesman all this stuff, I wonder if that's like, okay, and we may just pause here now to kind of give John Lithgow the Tony.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, because I believe with the online voting, now that I'm thinking about it, I do not think you go down a full ballot and then submit. I do think you go category by category. And yeah, like I think once you get to, I don't know what the order is going to be, but let's say actor in a play is towards the end. If you're voting and you're like, Jesus, I just clicked salesman for like 5-6 things, I'll go for Lithgow.
I think
salesman,
people
I'm gonna
do
get
think that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got, Jeff?
I have Nathan.
Okay.
Because Jeff believes in the consistency and the vitality of the voters who are like, yes, I will vote for it a 9th time.
Yes, which there are some of those.
I do. I don't know. There's something about, like, I feel like people are going to have a hard time, like, not only separating, like, John Lithgow's performance from, like, it being Roald Dahl. And, like, if they have any, like, anger towards that in the play, they might be like, I'll just go with Nathan on this instead.
It's true. I mean, basically the only people in this category who don't have like blood on their hands in terms of what they're working on are Mark Strong and Daniel Radcliffe. Because like even Will Harrison, he kills a man in his show, but
yeah.
I
don't know if it's the world. Good for them for getting nominated. I don't see it. It's just the Nathan and John. And I saw there was a clip somewhere on Instagram. It was like Nathan and John at what do they do? The breakfast or the lunch when they all get the nomination. And they were like, hey, one of them was like, hey, how's it going? When are we going to do a play together? I don't know. Let's talk. And it was just the most like, two dads on the street corner outside their lawn. Like, how's it going? And it was just, that felt good. Like, it doesn't even matter who wins because they're going to like do some star-studded play in like 2 or 3 years on Broadway. I don't know. Like,
yeah. That's what I love about those guys and these things is like they've been doing this for so long and they both have their awards and they like obviously it means stuff, but you get to a certain point in your career at a certain age where you've had enough success that you're not necessarily worried that people think less of you. And so not winning isn't important anymore. Like they have enough awards to know that like they're good at what they do. And so it's like, we're going to have a free meal and I'm going to talk to people and ask them about like their show today because I can't go see it. So I'll ask questions.
Right.
I love that. Yeah.
All right. We're on to actress in a leading role in a play, huh?
Yeah, we are. We've got Rose Byrne in Fallen Angels, Carrie Coon in Bug, Susanna Flood in Liberation, Leslie Manville in Oedipus, and Kelly O'Hara in Fallen Angels. Of these 5, only Kelly and Rose are in an open show right now. So I think it goes to conclusion that we're going to get a performance in a closed show in this category. Probably the one this season that we'll have. And I do ultimately think it's Leslie Manville and Oedipus. I think it's the one award that Oedipus really has locked. They could win 1 or 2 more, but like it is honoring that show. It is a phenomenal performance. She remains on our consciousness from, she's in London right now doing Les Liaisons Dangereuses and saying what she said about people on their phones at curtain call.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yep.
Yeah. And is in, a revival nominee like Rose and Kelly, whereas Carrie Coon is not. And while Susanna Flood was wonderful in Liberation, I do think she actually probably poses the biggest threat to Leslie Manville, weirdly, because there's a world where Liberation wins play and only play. But then there's also a world where it could slightly overperform. And then if that were to happen, Susanna Flood could benefit from that.
Yeah.
But I think...
I put between Leslie and Kelly O'Hara. Leslie
Interesting.
Manville. Yeah. I completely agree with everything you said about Leslie in there. I don't know. There's something about the comedic timing and acting that's coming from Kelly in this that it's something that I haven't seen her done in the past. So it just stood out for me. So I wonder if it's something that might get awarded.
Richie.
I'm in the same place because I think Leslie's probably got it, but there's something about Kelly doing that role. And I was like, okay, I've never seen this side of you before. Like, you're working up there a little more than Rose Byrne. I think Rose Byrne was great, but I think if I had to choose between just those two, I would go Kelly in that. And I think, and Carrie's great and Susanna's great. I mean, this is tough. They were all really great, but I do think Leslie's got the edge up on everyone else with that role.
It's a good category. Sorry, I sound like Jim Neaglick. It's a good category. What I love about Kelly and Fallen Angels is I feel like with Days of Wine and Roses and this, Kelly's kind of gotten back to a messier place as an actress where I felt post South Pacific, she had gotten a little too refined and rigid. I mean, not bad, but just I'll never forget Kiss Me Kate, where I was just like, why are you not going for the jugular with this? You're way too
very safe. Yeah.
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 And like the Kelly that's doing Fallen Angels, I wish was the Kelly that did Kiss Me Kate, because there's a go for brokenness that she's doing in this show that I applaud, like, and a lack of vanity on both her and Rose Byrne's side that just like I'm obsessed with. There's something about like really beautiful people having no vanity and allowing themselves to look grotesque sometimes.
Like Rose Byrne's wig at the end of Act 2, and she comes in the hair. I was like, oh yes, you're like you're a Hollywood star walking on stage in that wig. Like, good for you.
And
yeah.
when like Kelly's coming down the stairs and
she's like falling, and like it was just, and that's just a testament to Noel Coward's brilliant writing too. But I mean, it's just, they were great. I thought they were very enjoyable in that.
Kelly gets dragged over a couch and onto the floor, like face down. Over a chair and onto the floor.
And the whole like lighting the cigarette and moving away with it, and that whole bit, I was just thought it was so funny.
I mean, this production for me kind of solely exists for Rose and Kelly to, like, I hate to say, Judd Apatow it out, but like to Bridesmaid it out,
right?
And they do it, and I think the reason why this revival is as successful as it is solely because of them. That sad.
Yep.
I do ultimately think it's Leslie Manville. I in my gut, I do. Listen, if Kelly won again for this, I think that would be ferocious.
It would be another like comedic win. And when we're talking about things like Schmigadoon and Titanic and then Fallen Angels, this has been a year of like the crazy wild comedy. Although O'Mary won a lot last year, and that was a wild comedy too. To see that win as much for the comedies are like there right now.
Yeah, listen, I never laughed harder than at the end of Ragtime. So I'm like, Casey, Joshua, come get your comedy awards, baby.
At least you didn't say Death of a Salesman, because
there's nothing funny about young Biff in Death of a Salesman. When he shows up in those pants, there's nothing funny about that. That is the face of God that you're looking at. No, I do ultimately. I think it's Leslie. I think Susanna has a chance to upset. I think if anyone is going to upset Leslie, that's not Susanna, it's Kelly. I think she has more material than Rose. So it was interesting to me when people were like, oh, for nominations, I think Rose is going to get in and not Kelly. And I understood why, because on a physical level, Rose allowed herself to go so grotesque with the wig and the makeup and all that stuff. But similar to Death Becomes Her and War Pain, I said, and Wicked, I was like, I don't know how you nominate one without the other.
I know.
They succeed off of each other.
Yep.
And I'll say
put both of them right into Death Becomes Her, Rose Byrne.
Imagine. Wow, what a world that would be.
If we could dub Rose Byrne singing with like an audio track of Jennifer Simard, and then Kelly could just do Kelly, I would fucking pay for that shit.
I'm just shocked. Side note, that not this season, but I am just shocked that Death Becomes Her is not like doing more stunt casting, or they're just going to be like, we're closing.
They can't. That show is so hard to stunt cast because the vocal and physical demands are such. Right. Like, you're not going to get fucking Whitney Levitt to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Although I'm okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know why they haven't done this yet, but Kelly, Rose, and I guess Tracy Chimo need to do a lip sync to Tell Me Ernest, and Tracy is Christopher Sieber, and Kelly is Megan Hilty, Rose is Jennifer Simard. I'm sorry, TikTok, where are you at? Kelly, come on, girl, I'm helping you out.
You heard it here first.
Right, exactly.
Do it for sing for me. Okay, so that's actress in a play. Now we have revival of a musical and best musical.
Yes, we're down to these two.
Bum, bum, bum.
revival of musical. We have Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Ragtime, and Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show. Clearly, Mamma Mia is winning, but
And just the fact that we do we always only have 3 in this category?
not always. It depends on how many contenders there are. We'll say this again because people have been confused this year.
Yeah.
The way that it works is when it is 5 or fewer contenders, it is 3 nominees. When it is 6 to 8 contenders, it is 4. When it is 9 or more, it is 5.
So that's
And
why
so
chess didn't make it in. And
yes. So I would need you to tell the children that who listen to your podcast
Yeah.
because Reddit, Twitter, which because I refuse to call it X, and Broadway Instagram accounts are all like, I can't believe they removed a slot just so they wouldn't nominate chess. I'm like,
no,
you need to know
right.
how the math works, sweetie.
Yep. Now we know. All right.
Now we know. Boys,
What do we got, Jeff?
Cats,
I think
The
it's,
Jellicle Ball.
I think it's going Cats, The Jellicle Ball too. I don't think Ragtime's getting it. I don't. It could, but
but that's also why I'm not picking Lear as my prediction because I could imagine Bill and Jalon winning and Cats not winning, I can't imagine a world where Cats wins and Lear wins. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the Cats directors with the Cats winning revival just seems like a married win right there. To me.
Yeah, I agree. I
We
think
had a
Ragtime
fun-
does.
We had a fun staging of Ragtime put at Lincoln Center, but that's all it really was. So I don't understand why it would win.
Okay.
That's it.
Well,
I mean,
'cause
you have to separate, I think, what people like about it as a musical versus like what's actually on the stage.
That's the thing that's kind of been crazy to me is seeing people talk about how they would vote for Ragtime for revival because it's the better musical. And I'm sitting here going, but it's called Best Revival.
Right. It's
Not Best
about the
Musical.
production, people. Like, let's.
Lynn and Steve won their Tony already. They can't
Right.
win another for this revival. This doesn't
Right.
fall under the classics rule.
Right.
Like, yeah, they can't win a second one for this. And so you're talking about the revival. Now, there's some people who genuinely think this is the better revival, and if they vote that way, so be it. But you also have to look at the history of how this category has gone. And we talked about this last week. Very, very rarely in the last like 23, 24 years have the Tonys given a revival the award when it's like kind of a standard production.
Mm-hmm.
When they have, in retrospect, it may seem standard, but at the time it was unique. Like in retrospect, people would maybe look at South Pacific as a standard revival. That at the time, that's not how it felt. At the time, it felt like it revitalized a warhorse that people thought couldn't be done anymore. And it was on a scale that we hadn't seen in years. And so that was the thing.
That was setting the stage for the Golden Age revivals in 2007, 2008, whatever that was. That was
2008, yeah.
At
And
first,
then
South Pacific, I was like, my gosh, I feel like I'm jumped 50 years back in this gorgeous, yeah. And I get that.
And then you have something like Hello Dolly, which you could look at as kind of standard, but that also like very lavish was a show that was needed in that time as an antidote for our sadness, for our cynicism. It was a major candy-colored golden age revival. And also Hello Dolly, not to knock it, but like it was up against Miss Saigon, which like no one thought much of that revival other than Eva. And then Falsettos, which had long closed. And for a while, people thought Falsettos might put up a fight. And then it could not beat the Scott Rudin machine.
Right.
Yeah. But in the past, usually you're looking at something like a Sunset Boulevard. You're looking at a Marion Elliott Company. You're looking at Woklahoma, where it's...
Yeah.
Which that's not a dig, but that's what people call it.
Yeah,
Woklahoma.
yeah.
Is good. But like even like Once on This Island, that was a very different interpretation of that show while also not being disrespectful of the material itself. I think that sometimes you can swing a little too close to the sun and that can go against you.
Mhm.
But I don't think anyone's feeling that way about Jellicle Ball. Everyone's genuinely finding it to be a revitalizing revival and more importantly, a genuine revival.
Right. And is that what your vote would be? Cats?
No, I'm voting for Mamma Mia. No, it's I would vote for Jellicle Ball, but it's not even. Again, when we're doing these predictions, I only go with what I would vote for when I'm so at a loss and I don't know where to turn, and I'm like, let me just go with my personal choice, and maybe that'll win. For otherwise, I'm genuinely trying to think of history, precedent, narrative, and just the energy I've been hearing. And I don't know about you guys, but like I just keep hearing from everyone, I would vote for Jellicle Ball.
Yeah.
And as you said, Richie, like it can sometimes be with a caveat of like, well, I think Ragtime's probably going to win, but like I'm voting for Jellicle Ball. I'm like, I haven't heard anyone say I think Jellicle Ball's winning, so I'm voting for Ragtime.
Right.
Yeah.
And then poor
Yeah.
Rocky Horror doesn't get really mentioned here, but I mean, whatever.
She's the Carrie Coon of the
Yeah.
table.
Poor Carrie.
Listen, I mean, I
One's
probably
Leslie
would vote
Bibb,
for
one's
Rocky
the other
Horror
one.
second. So
Say what?
I probably would vote for Rocky Horror second over the Ragtime production. So
I don't think I would.
I don't know if I
Ragtime,
would
I
either.
think maybe is a little less of an interesting production than Rocky Horror, but I think it clears its bar more. What I give Rocky Horror a lot of credit for, especially Dots, is like way to introduce Party City and not have it be a dig, you know?
Oh, are we also speaking of Party City? Are we talking about those Dracula costumes in Act 2 of Lost Boys? Yikes.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We were having a really
That's-
nice time.
That or the superhero costumes in Act 2? Because that
We
felt
were
like a
having
little...
such a nice time. It's about to be Pride, and I really don't want to be homophobic yet.
I just don't understand. I'll never understand Act 2 of Lost Boys, but
can
it's
we
okay.
be homophobic?
Did you ask if you could be homophobic, Jeff? Absolutely. Have you not met Ryan Murphy? Gay white men can be homophobic all the time. Finally, we have Best Musical, gentlemen. We have The Lost Boys, Schmigadoon, Titanic, and Across. What is our winner here?
Okay, so I feel like when Schmigadoon was limited, I was like, okay, it's not winning Best Musical. And then as soon as they extended, I said, the game has completely changed now. And I'm in a world that Schmigadoon is winning.
Can you say that again like a reality show host? The game has
game
has completely changed.
Has completely changed. Yeah, I definitely think Schmigadoon is winning. If the Act 2 of Lost Boys had the same momentum as Act 1, I would have said easily Lost Boys was going to win, but I just think it fell flat in Act 2. So yeah, Schmigadoon's my win here.
I think Schmigadoon too. I think it's tight. It's tough. If I see that Lost Boys wins, I might be like, okay, not shocked. I kind of could see maybe it just kind of drifting that way by a couple votes, but my gut's telling me Schmigadoon. I just think we're going that way. I think when's the last time we've seen a new musical with a golden age feel win Best Musical? It's been a while. We've had a lot of folk shows, pop shows, jazzy shows. I mean, but to have that orchestral golden age look and feel, even though it's spoofy, I think is also a love letter to that time too. And I think people might just want something fresh and different like this for the Best Musical win. So I see it.
Yeah. I think the last time we had a show win Best Musical that had maybe like a classical edge to it was Gentleman's Guide.
Sure.
And similar to Schmigadoon, that's like a classical style with a modern edge to it. And I think that while I can't always say that Schmigadoon was laugh out loud funny for me, I did find it clever frequently. And there's something to be said for that. And I think that's something that a lot of voters also go for, is they do enjoy the clever of it all. Yeah, I think the last time I did like a semi prediction, I was like, I guess it's down to Schmigadoon, Lost Boys, and Two Strangers. At this point, I really just think the Two Strangers is out of the game, to the point that as we're finishing this recording, I'm not sure how much I believe anymore that they're winning score.
And I don't even know if they win much, and then maybe they just announce a closure. I think they really pushed through to get to this moment, because they could have closed and they didn't. And so,
but
good for
are
them.
they making the money that they need to run that show?
Probably. I mean, it's got to be.
It's they have one of the lowest running costs on Broadway right now. I think it costs about $500K, maybe $450 a week to run, and they've been maintaining that, but they have not been overflowing with surplus. And so, and what's interesting is I think they were hoping for a maybe happy ending Gentleman's Guide narrative of, well, you know, we're struggling now, but once the nominations come through, we're going to win. And that's going to, the nominations haven't really boosted their sales in the way that I think they were hoping. I mean, I don't think any of the Best Musical nominees right now are setting the box office on fire. Schmigadoon and Lost Boys definitely have had the biggest boon. Titanic is improving a bit, but yeah, Two Strangers, like, I don't know. It's just, it hasn't had the critical love that Gentleman's Guide and maybe Happy Ending had, and it doesn't have the undeniable we're the one
Mm.
identity that they had when it comes to the nominees. So I feel like there feels to be less of a duty by voters to vote for it. It also, and this may sound like a conspiracy, but it is a West End transfer. And we have not had a British transfer win Best Musical since Billy Elliot, which was 17 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a long
And
time.
we haven't had, and I think the last one before Billy Elliot to win
Was Phantom?
from
Feels
Sunset.
like Sunset.
Yeah, Sunset.
Okay. So
Yeah. So
I'm
we're
sure you
looking
have a big
14 and
contender.
17.
right.
I'm sure you have a big contender next season, West End.
I think we have a tiny contender with a big ol' heart.
And a
And
big old
they-
jar of marmalade.
Mm,
Next year is I mean, we could do a whole nother episode on that, but I mean,
I think
revivals
that's-
alone.
Well, I believe you two have a podcast where at the beginning of the season you look ahead at the season and
we
just saying
so
someone hasn't been asked back.
We
in
are
a
gonna
year and a half,
August.
so.
We usually do that around August, so we're gonna be getting
Clearly, I
August.
I offended the ladies of the house since I haven't been asked back in almost
You're
2
gonna
years.
come
so.
over to our pond and half hour world, and we'll do a little well, it's interesting because usually there's always 1 or 2 shows that are like, now we start the next Tony season in July and August, and other than that one show where they're like reading stories at the
Well, no, they just announced Paranormal Activity.
Paranormal Activity will be August, right? But there was this. What's the at the
celebrity
Schubert, the celebrity? I don't know what that is.
The celebrity
autobiography.
Yeah, I'm not even really
The celebrity thing.
Yeah. But like
Yeah.
usually we've had like Grey House started in the summer and Call Me Izzy started in the summer. There was like always there's not really that right now. So other than Paranormal Activities. So
yeah, Call Me Easy did start previews like in the middle of Tony season.
Yes.
That was kind of wild of them. I forgot about that.
yeah.
I didn't forget that much because I think I talked about it at one point. But yeah, I remember
The Cottage.
I was like at a Tony I was like at a Tony party and then went from there to see Call Me Izzy, and that's not a show you want to see after 2 drinks.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And
but
with
I
someone like
digress.
Jean Smart, you have to kind of probably put it on Broadway when she's not filming or whatever. You know, they have to work around all these schedules. I get that.
Jean Smart can do whatever the fuck she wants. I just wish she picked a better play. That's
I
all.
know.
That's
I know.
all. But listen, speaking of women I love who should pick better plays, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, you're really going to make your Broadway debut in other desert cities? Do it in the goddamn The Goat. That is so Selena Meyer coded. You get that freak out you get to have. My God.
I know.
Whatever.
know.
I need to tell all these women what to do. It's and you can put that on a T-shirt. I need to
Yeah.
tell all these women what to do.
New job for you.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Gentlemen, what are we most looking forward to in this ceremony? Is there a performance we're really looking forward to seeing? Are we excited to hear what Pink has to say?
Sure.
I find
Seeing
it
the original cast of the Book of Mormon back on stage.
Yeah, because that's coming. I mean,
Yeah.
I will say, first of all, I find it odd. Maybe I'm just living under a rock. I haven't seen much like Pink promo, like photos, video reels of like, watch the Tonys. I mean, we're only 2 weeks out at this point, but maybe
Because she's too busy making sure it's a good show to
There
go
we
on
go.
TikTok
There we
and
go.
do a viral dance. She's like, I'm sitting with my writers and I'm making sure that opening slaps. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like, what we've been seeing with Schmigadoon and Cats and stuff on the Good Morning Americas and the Views and all that, I feel like that's just what we're going to basically see. We're not getting the like Audra moment and the Nicole moment really this season. We're getting ensemble work. There's a lot of ensemble-based production numbers other than Two Strangers, which is literally 2 people.
Well, it is the whole ensemble, yeah.
Yeah, that is true. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm just looking forward to the whole night in general. There's not one specific thing. This season's just all over the place in terms of style. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let's just see what happens,
Mhm.
I'm most excited to see what Titanic does. I'm most intrigued to see what Lost Boys does.
Yeah.
I'm like every other show I can think of at least 2 options, and Lost Boys I'm just sort of going, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
I know. I don't know. I mean, and then
and how does it fit the mold for TV? Like you go what?
Yeah,
A little
because that's
slot
the thing
to-
that a lot of these shows don't think about is it's not just what works out of context from your show, but what can fit the medium of television
Mhm.
and how are you going to stage it in a way that does? Because I think the best Tony performances think about that. The
Mhm.
Hadestown performance was very much edited and staged for the cameras.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, like, will Marla do a whole like improv bit with the audience as Celine and do a whole thing? I mean, there's probably going to be something like that. Like, I'm thinking, you know, Ragtime could just do the whole opening. That's what they've done in the past. That's usually a get everybody on stage in a moment. But I don't know. I mean, Schmigadoon could just do one of their tap numbers. I don't know. I mean,
Watch Schmigadoon do
Max's number, like just the whole Max number.
just all of Max's number. No, watch them do Sarah Chase singing about vagina in the doctor's office. That's going to be the song that they do. No, Ragtime, I imagine, is doing. They're either doing the opening or they're going to do Till We Reach That Day. I'm going to assume the opening, and probably the same cut of the opening that they did in '98 because it's a very well.
I do
cut.
like that cut. Yeah, and that's a nice clip from that.
Yeah, it gets the job. I mean, listen, Once on This Island did almost the exact same cut of Mama Will Provide that they did in '91 because they're like, why mess with perfection? They figured it out.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm curious too. It'll be interesting.
mm-hmm.
And what stars, what they,
I think we'll be getting like an appearance from like Meg Stalter because she's going to be an old Mary.
Maybe.
And I also petition now for her to host the Tonys next year.
Could you
Because
imagine?
let's get the prettiest girl in America to do that. And it will be funny. But
well, she's got a whole year to get 35% more famous. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
they're like, who is she?
Yeah.
Because she's extremely famous for the niche crowd, and she's becoming famous for mainstream, but she's not quite there yet.
Mhm.
So I'm like, listen, Cynthia Erivo, we all know the reason why she got to host last year is because she was riding off of Wicked, which was one of the biggest movies of the year. If Wicked had done like a third of that business, she would not have been asked to host the Tonys.
Right.
So like Megan Stalter just needs a Wicked now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
I think it could be coming. You never know.
It's a coming. Gentlemen, this has been delightful. Where can people find you if you want them to find you?
At Half Hour Podcast. You can find us on the Broadway Podcast Network.
And on
Apple,
Instagram.
Spotify, Instagram.
Yeah, all of them. But yeah, just at
Easy.
Half Hour Podcast.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty standard, pretty simple. Guys, if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram only at Matt Koplik, usual spelling. Give the podcast a nice 5-star rating or review on Apple Podcasts, 5-star rating on Spotify. We also have a Substack. We have a Discord. Guess what? I'm not promoting another live show because we just did the last one for a while. So congrats. You're not going to hear me peddling my lame ass about that for a while. But those of you who did come, we really appreciate. Can you believe I went fully nude?
Oh my God.
When you got a body like this, why not show it off? So yeah, boys, as you know, we close out with a diva every episode. Who do you want to close out with tonight?
Oh, I think I chose last time.
No, I did.
It's my turn again?
I picked Mackenzie Kurtz, right?
Oh, didn't you?
Oh, you did.
I did.
In honor of, I'm looking behind me, in honor of Dreamgirls here coming to Broadway, let's go Jennifer Holiday.
Jennifer Holiday, fantastic. Jennifer Holiday singing Edelweiss.
Imagine.
Oh my God, can you imagine Jennifer Holiday singing that? Yeah.
That would be a loud version of that song.
Man. Yeah, great. We'll do that. Okay, so we'll see you guys in a few days. Enjoy the Tony Awards. We're going to record our reactions to that almost immediately afterwards. Competing episodes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, you can listen to Jeff and Richie first. They're going to be half hour, and then you can listen to me. I'm the big cheese after that.
We're the appetizer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're the amuse bouche. Okay, so that's it. Take it away, Miss Holiday. Bye.
Were his days a little dull? Were his nights a little wild? Did I overstate